live from New York. It's a show that just needs to keep the takes within bounds, okay?
What?
No bonus takes today.
Oh, there's going to be bonus.
Brew, do what you want.
Not as many.
Miles just gets so mad that your cogent analysis takes away from his time for his whimsical fantasy.
Talk about the Charlotte Hornets.
Yeah.
No, we're going to go through tiers at 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
And Brew, he will open up a full page and it will just have takes on it.
That's good. That's what the show is. It's more that and less you deciding at 7 a.m. I'm going to do Hornets for Tears. And then
What's wrong with that?
And then seeing that I actually gave the Hornets a ton of respect.
That was yesterday.
And you're doing them anyway.
I'm doing Hornets today.
Again, I mean,
Hornets are 500 now.
Right, and I have them way
they're
above.
Too good for you to like, really.
Not yet.
A month ago, it was.
If they get a little bit better, I'm moving on
then I'll
to
take
the Pelicans.
15-3, I think, right? Over the last 18.
Yeah.
See?
That was a bonus.
That's my take. These are my takes. Give me bonus takes. Today, Kyler leaving Arizona could a connection with Justin Jefferson make the Vikings immediate contenders. Look at this little creativity out of the tees. Kyler throws it, Justin Jefferson catches it.
But that's confusing.
No, it's not confusing at all.
Yeah. Wow. Was that your idea?
No, that's all Dusty and our Dream
Dusty.
Team editors out in L.A. Well done. Meanwhile, World Baseball Classic starts tonight. Can future teammates Skeens and Aaron Judge bring home the championship? I gave that one.
It'd be nice.
What do you mean future teammates?
Future teammates. Eventually, Skeens going to end up on the end.
Probably. One of the big boys.
Do you think you want to
would
go
grab
somewhere you can win a World Series?
To where? The Dodgers?
I don't know.
The Dodgers have to run out of money at some-
A lot of teams have won
Now,
a
are
World
you an
Series more recently.
Since
Yankee
09, yeah.
I'm pro
I have to
accuracy.
be pro-Yankee.
Yankees.
And finally, a special edition of NBA Tiers and a surprising appearance near the top of
We
the
had that
tier.
yesterday. It was a short-lived yesterday.
What?
Cade's stay atop the hill.
Oh yeah, I mean, they did.
But
10
still,
points.
but I haven't-
Responded with 10 points.
I put a lot of pressure on.
Some people are
Some people are ability.
I'm the king of the hill.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Chris Broussard with some bonus takes throughout the show. They're going to be excellent. Kevin Wildes, Nick Wright. We're just going to start the show because we're starting in Kansas City. I know you want to get to this.
Yep.
Trent McDuffie has been traded, headed to the Rams. Kansas City receiving pick number 29 in the first round, as well as a 5th, a 6th, and a 2027 third. Mahomes didn't feel great about it, tweeting, "Darn, but the swear." Nick, your reaction?
Version.
Trent McDuffie, I believe, is the best slot corner in football. Trent McDuffie was drafted by the Chiefs. They immediately went to 3 straight Super Bowls, winning back-to-back.
Yep.
He's an excellent player, and I think this is for a Rams team that. Sorry, we just had old confetti fall down.
2 weeks ago?
From the Super Bowl.
Celebrating the
Sorry,
the Rams.
that was unbelievable. The Rams, to me, more than any team in the league, should be put all the chips in.
Yeah,
because
that makes
they're
sense.
good enough and their quarterback doesn't have a 5-year window the way the other great quarterbacks or a 10-year window those guys do.
Yeah.
So I am okay with them saying, forget 2029. Let's try to go now. So I understand it for them. Mm-hmm. And for the Chiefs, this is what responsible adult organizations do, which is make tough decisions and do it a year early when you can get the biggest possible return rather than a year late where you get a tepid return, or 2 years late like the Bengals are doing with Trey Hendrickson where you get no return at all.
Yeah.
The Chiefs built the defensive backbone of their 3 straight Super Bowl appearances via the Tyreek Hill trade. They just traded a player as good as McDuffie is, not Tyreek Hill's caliber at the time, for 85% of the return they got for the Tyreek Hill. If we put the 2 trades side by side, both netted the 29th pick in the upcoming draft. Tyreek got you a 2nd, 2 fourths, and a 6th. This got you a 3rd, a 5th, and a 6th. So not quite as much, but again, about 85%. And this is what you have to do. And I will add one other piece, Brew. The Chiefs under this regime have made it very clear we can develop corners and we won't pay them. So secondary players, we can develop them, we won't pay them. They drafted Marcus Peters, they traded him to the Rams. They drafted Charvarius Ward, they let him walk for a huge deal with the Niners. They signed Honey Badger, they let him walk. They drafted L'Jarius Sneed, they traded him to the Titans. They drafted Trent McDuffie, they traded him to the Rams. Not on there, they drafted Jalen Watson in the 7th round, turned him into a really good corner. He's about to get probably $15 million a year in free agency. That's the spot they think they can develop in-house.
Sure.
So yes, they are. Whoever they draft and whichever players they draft will not be day one as good as Trent McDuffie. But this is what you have to do, in my opinion, to have a 15-year contention window.
Yeah, look, both teams were true to themselves. All right, the Rams, of course, Les Snead, what did he say? F them picks,
Yes.
right? That's him. And that's what they've been doing, getting rid of picks, but getting players that can help you right now. I agree. I was looking at you funny when you said they should be more all-in than any other team because I'm thinking Baltimore, Buffalo. But you're right. Lamar, Josh Allen have a longer runway than Stafford. So, yeah, I think for the Rams it's great. You know McDuffie's going to be great. We've talked about how second half of their season, the defense wasn't quite up to snuff. And McDuffie, the quarterback's one of their big needs. And he is one of the best in the league. Mm-hmm. So I thought it was great for them. They still have the Falcons' first round pick, number 13, I think it is. So they're in good shape with that, too. And for the Chiefs, you showed a lot of what I was going to say. Like, this is what they do. Tyreek, they let go. And he ended up having his best year in Miami, but he still was awesome. And they let him go, and it didn't hurt him. L'Jarius Sneed, and now Trent McDuffie. So, and they have drafted well. Obviously, they drafted most of these guys. So you would think with these picks that they're getting, stockpiling, they're going to make the most of them. So assuming they do that and do what they've done the past few years, with Brett Veach, they'll be fine. But it is contingent on them making the most out of these picks. If they don't draft well all of a sudden,
then you're in real
now
trouble.
you may be going into a bit of a slide. I'm not saying like for too many years, but you could go into a slide if you don't draft well. But their track record says they will. So I think it was great for the Rams, and I think it was good for the Chiefs.
Quickly on the Rams, so you mentioned it, Brew, how good they were weeks 1 through 12. There was a point where we looked at them as a top 5 defense. Then they really fell off the cliff, and they had to win games, in the 30s. So the Rams are going all in. That looks great. How optimistic are you about the Chiefs' season? Because this week we saw Juwan Taylor be a cap casualty.
Yeah.
You think you're going to be okay. Trent McDuffie's leaving. It feels kind of future-oriented, and I know this is part of the business of the NFL, but do you still feel great about this, your 5th hardest schedule?
Yeah, so I am not as the 5th hardest schedule thing. I think the off-season, how hard is your upcoming season schedule? It's sometimes you can tell, and sometimes a bit of a fool's errand. Yeah. And I think we learned that this year, where like a lot of the teams that we thought were going to be walkovers were tough games.
The 49ers were easy.
Are supposed to have a tough or easy schedule.
Yeah.
Right, and teams that flip side, I'll use the Chiefs as an example. People are like, man, we got to go to Arrowhead in November or December, and it was like, that's great. Actually, and so if Patrick Mahomes is healthy, I am exceptionally optimistic, not only for this year, but for continuing years, because they have the stomach to do this type of thing. This is very Belichickian. I don't know how many times we saw the Patriots when they knew we had Brady and we're going to have this long run, either trade guys away or have them leave for big dollar free agent deals and then come back. Mm-hmm. And you know what I mean? Like it didn't. And so in that regard, I am very optimistic. I will also say this. The Juwan Taylor thing, we all, people that care enough about the Chiefs cap situation to knew that was coming. The second most likely major move was trading Trent McDuffie. And so this is not shocking. If the news was they had traded Chris Jones, that would shock me. Yeah. And I also think the other piece of it is, I think Trent McDuffie, and he deserves it, and God bless him, is about to get like $30 million a year, which was just going to be untenable for the Chiefs.
And they could lose, like you already said, Watson, the safety.
Brian Cook, he's a free agent.
So I got to be, they don't feel like an elite team right now. They don't feel, like I think the Chargers and Denver definitely feel to me like they're ahead of them just in that division. And so I have faith in Veach's resume where he will draft guys, but it feels like it may be, I'm not saying this, writing this in stone, but it almost feels like next year could be kind of a, let's get Mahomes back to, through the injury, back to his old self. And next year's kind of a tough year. Maybe they don't make the playoffs again, and then they make a great run the following year.
So I'll meet you halfway on this. I don't think, and even with this draft capital and even with whatever they could do in free agency, that it's reasonable to be like, Chiefs, pencil them back in for 13-4.
No.
I don't think that. I do think that if they go 10-7 and make the playoffs, and by that time Mahomes is more than a year removed from the injury, and these extra picks, these young guys have a year under their belt, they can be an exceptionally dangerous team.
If they get in the playoffs, they'll scare some people.
Totally agree.
They'll scare some people.
And I just want to say one other thing just very quickly, because we talk about Bill Barnwell a lot on this show because we think he's so smart and does a good job. Credit to him, he predicted Trent McDuffie to the Rams in one of his offseason columns. He thought the trade compensation would be Trent McDuffie and a fifth from Kansas City for the 29th. So the Chiefs give up McDuffie and a fifth and get the 29th.
It does seem like a pretty big haul if you're also going to pay McDuffie.
It is but on the draft value chart, it is almost the same that the Jets got for Quinnen Williams, and it's about 80% of what the Jets got for Sauce Gardner, who is considered, because he's an outside corner, a slightly more valuable spot. Like, this was, I think, the best value you could possibly get, and it's a bunch of picks. So to your point, the Chiefs have had the 2022 draft, the Chiefs crushed. The 2023 draft, not a lot of hits. This needs to be the 2022 draft for them, and that's how you rebuild.
It's fascinating. To Bruce's point about a reset year, remember we called that with Buffalo, too, when they had an exodus of captains, and we did a lot of, defensive starts, and they were excellent. At the same time, I don't know if we'd be shocked, at least on this side of the table, if the Chiefs won 9 games.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked. And again, a lot of it depends on Mahomes.
It's just Mahomes.
If Mahomes starts week 1, I would be shocked if they win 9 games. I know they just won 6. I understand, but I do not look at this past season as the beginning of the downfalls, as a reset, aberrant, bad year, kind of all the bad stuff that could happen. So, but if Mahomes doesn't start till week 6, then
if it takes him a while to really
get back to it. But I think Mahomes independent, this is good business. If you want to contend for the entirety of Patrick Mahomes' prime and into his late 30s, these are the tough decisions you got to make.
Coming up later, your Ravens letting your center walk.
Hopefully not.
Yeah.
Hopefully they'll work
Could we see recently released Kyler Murray throwing the ball to Justin Jefferson week 1 in Minnesota? Albert Breer writing, Kyler's $36.8 million guarantee means he'll almost certainly play in the minimum next year, with Arizona footing the rest of the bill. That'll allow him to make his next move purely on what's best for him, football-wise. Brew, do you think adding Kyler makes the Vikings immediate contenders?
Well, the first thing is this. If you bring in Kyler, you're pretty much admitting you're done with J.J. McCarthy.
Correct.
We talked about Aaron Rodgers. He could easily be there for one season. McCarthy learns under him, and then McCarthy's starting in a year. Kyler could just go there and not play well, and then McCarthy somehow is still in the mix. But what this would say to McCarthy is, we're done with you. And look, in fairness, he has not delivered, and being hurt more than half of his time there is part of not delivering. You just been hurt. So even though he's only had 10 games, he hasn't played well enough to get an attitude, but it would be saying, you may not be long for this league or this organization, certainly. So that if they go get Kyler, they got to know the message we're sending to JJ. That said, if they get Kyler, look, we all can think about his great highlights. He made 2 Pro Bowls, I think legitimately his second and third years in the league. But in 7 years in the league, I guess you can say 6 healthy, he made the playoffs once. And he had 1 winning season in Arizona. Now, they never had a top 10 defense. He never made them a top 10 offense either, but they never had a top 10 defense. He would have that with Minnesota. I am not going to say contender. He still would be likely the worst quarterback in that division. Jordan Love, Caleb Williams, and Jared Goff, right?
Maybe.
So, unless Caleb does not take a leap and then doesn't have all those extra, supernatural comebacks, but he likely is the worst quarterback in that division. Now, they had that this year and won 9 games. So I think they will be a playoff contender. Could maybe make a run and get into the playoffs. I'll be a little bit hesitant to say Super Bowl contender.
Go, KW.
One day I was driving my car. I made some bad decisions. I said, you know what? I can get to the middle of Connecticut on just a little bit of gas. And next thing you know, my car shuts off. I was in a Prius at the time.
Prius, you don't need gas.
You do need a little bit of gas. It wasn't all electric a long time ago.
All right.
The car is now dead. And I get off the exit and start rolling down. I said, I am in a bad spot here. I take a right because I see it's downhill. There is a downhill slope for 3 miles until there's a gas station. I pull in and fill up, and I said, you know what? I made a series of bad decisions, and look what I lucked into. That's the Minnesota Vikings with Kyler Murray. You have made bad decision on Sam Darnold. You made a bad decision on J.J. McCarthy. You made a bad decision letting Daniel Jones walk. And all of a sudden, number 1 pick, Kyler Murray, can fall into our lap for the league minimum. This is an obvious must sign. And I understand that, I'm not sure I said he can hang with everybody in that division. You could say he's the worst.
If he plays
maybe he is.
At his highest level.
But he can hang. He can hang.
No, go ahead. I'll let you finish.
I think he can hang. I think him and Caleb, they can hang. Him and Goff can hang together. He's a number 1 pick who has shown that he can string together 10 wins in a row.
No, hold on.
That happened.
He's accurate. He has a cannon.
Guys,
and he can move.
He's had some good years.
Okay, he's 29 in a couple months.
Okay.
He's 2 months older than Darnold. He's not a young player. He's not an untested player. He has 10 more career starts than Joe Burrow. He has, when we look at these guys that are reclamations, Darnold got 38 starts with the Jets. Geno got 30 in his career before Seattle, and he was out in the wilderness for a long time. Baker, it feels like he was with the Browns for a while, 59. He's at 87. We know exactly who Kyler Murray is.
He went to the playoffs.
I think
hold on. 40% of the league goes to the playoffs every year.
Well, I'm just saying it's not comparable to if Sam Darnold took the Jets to the playoffs.
No, but Baker went to the playoffs.
Yeah,
Baker
that was a sign that he could pop.
He is, none of us at this table think he's one of the 20 best quarterbacks in a 32 quarterback league.
So you don't think there's a chance? Because I'm with Minnesota taking the chance. Maybe he's not any good, but he's worth taking a shot.
Hold on. So that is, I'm not trying to be pedantic. Should Minnesota take a flyer on Kyler Murray?
Yeah.
Is a different question than what KW's proposing. Adding the Viking, making contenders, and that they've made all these bad decisions, and this could save it. No, it won't. Kyler Murray is not a good NFL quarterback.
How many games could he win with the Vikings? They went 9-8 last year with a combination of McCarthy, Wentz, and Brosmer, who started 2 games.
So maybe they could win 10 games.
So you think Kyler's one? Just for the record, McCarthy played 2, Wentz played 6, was out of the league. Then 9 came back for 4. Brosmer played for 2.
Let me ask you this: what if they signed Jacoby Brissett? Because the Cardinals had both healthy.
That was a money thing.
That guy was trying to save his job.
I like Brissett for that.
Jonathan Gannon did. Jonathan Gannon was trying to save his job. And Jonathan Gannon got Kyler Murray back and said, you're not playing because I need to win games.
I thought it was a Russ thing where if you get hurt, your money
I'm not sure he thought Brissett was
guarantees
better.
next year.
I would say this to you, though, Nick. Just what you're saying, you would have said about all of these reclamation projects, except maybe Baker. You would have said the same thing about Darnold. Yeah. You would have said it about Geno. And they're not good NFL quarterbacks.
Right, but my point, and that's why I mentioned the 87 starts. Those guys, by start 75, all showed they could be good.
But they did not show you any of the flashes or upside or even decent stretches that Kyler has. You have to admit that.
No, I agree. I think Baker did, but there's certainly Geno and Darnold did. Yeah, that's fine. And Daniel Jones didn't either, right. to your point. I just think all of us, I thought, kind of agreed that Kyler Murray was this level of quarterback, whatever it is. And now, because he's been released, I think people are going to trick themselves into what they wanted to believe in him 4 years ago. We know the book on him. We know that he has not been overwhelmingly popular with his teammates. We know that he has not engendered the trust of his coaches. We know that he has not shown the ability to play anywhere near his best football in November and December. We know that he has seemingly trailed off at the end of years, and that's because he's small, whatever it is. And the data, that part backs it up. Where if you look at his best games, right. 300-plus yard games or 100-plus passer rating, you can roll him.
That's all. Fair.
It's all weeks 1 through 10. He can do stuff. I think we have these, but weeks 1 through 10, he has 21 games with 300-plus yards. After that, he has 8. The 100-plus passer rating, it's a similar trajectory. Again, all of that is who the player is.
I wonder if... And
you
look,
to say he can hang with Goff is crazy.
He can hang with... All right, how about this? They play... I'm just giving me that he can hang. Maybe he's just... These guys are here and he's there. That's all I'm saying. They also play the NFC South. I think he is better than or can hang with all those guys. They play the AFC East. 2 teams I don't even know who the quarterback is. Drake was very good. Josh, who I've seen play head-to-head, and I've seen Kyler beat Josh on one of the best plays in recent memory. So I think that Kyler can turn a 9-8 team into
contenders?
I think he can win 11 games. I think I take those 2 Brosmer games out and win one of them.
He has to improve a lot. And I think he's capable. I think, Nick, even early in the season, the numbers you showed, the decline late in the season, it could be size. It also could be related to his lack of work ethic and not studying hard, because later in the seasons, teams, they know your tendencies better. They have more tape on you.
But you want to roll with 9 instead?
No. Well, that's a separate discussion about whether or not you owe it to yourself to see your decision through. But this is where, and maybe again, the way I look at sports does not mean it's right. It's just the only way I know how to do it. I can only judge Kyler Murray against where he stacks up amongst the 32 starting quarterbacks. And so when all of us at this table would say Mahomes, Stafford, Allen, Lamar, Burrow, Darnold, Caleb, May, Trevor, Goff, Love, Dak, Hurts, Baker, Herbert, Daniels are without a doubt better than him. That's 16. That's half. So he's not a top half quarterback. I have not mentioned Brock Purdy, who has proven more than Kyler Murray. I have not mentioned C.J. Stroud, who has a better singular season than Kyler's great 10 games. I have not mentioned Daniel Jones, who prior to some people like, and your guy Bryce Young, who also was a number 1 pick.
Well, I like Bryce.
I know you do. So if you're not a top 20 quarterback, or at best you're 20th, adding you at 29 years old does not make a team a contender.
I think adding Kyler plus the Vikings defense is very interesting. If you take all those quarterbacks, all right, I get to play your defense. You have to play Brian Flores' defense every time. Does that curve flip-flop Kyler and, I don't want to get into a fight, Brock Purdy, where he's 4-5 against the 49ers?
Would adding Mac Jones make them contenders?
Yes.
Because okay, so if your answer to that's yes, then I'm fine with it. Because that's about That's the pool I think he swims in. Shallower end, albeit. But that's the pool.
But he's he can move, too, if he's healthy.
No, look, I'm just like, take a flyer on him. Because if it works out, great. If it doesn't, you're not paying him anything.
If it doesn't, you still win 9 games. Oh.
Seahawks fans bet he's still on.
That's my non-TV face. Celebrating. More first things first right after the break. Don't worry, we will talk Trey Hendrickson. Podcast is flying up the charts in our YouTube channel. Check it out if you get a chance. It has a lot of interesting stuff on there, some trivia.
Danny cheated in trivia.
Did he officially?
Officially. Because remember, I did it, and then Gian asked him the same question when he came back from vacation. He cheated in trivia. And I knew it because he knew Brooke Lopez was the Nets' all-time leading scorer, and he knew Elvin Hayes. He cheated.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
Wow.
Pathetic. He said that was the bit. Everyone knew I cheated.
No, that's
pathetic.
That sounds like something my kid would say. All right, we're talking about A.J. Brown, perhaps a future Patriot, because we have some breaking news that Stefon DIggs just got released. We're going to talk about that in a second. The Seahawks, no, I'm not talking about the Seahawks. That's the old story. Will A.J. Brown fly away from the Eagles? Not for what Philly's asking for. The Athletic's James Palmer on the Scoop City podcast says that a head coach heard what the Eagles wanted in return for A.J. Brown and, quote, laughed hard. Are the Eagles better off keeping or trading A.J. Brown?
It should make you laugh. We're negotiating, all right? I'm coming in real high, all right? And beyond that, he's a great player, all right? And I am of the, if they get a package that they like, where they can presumably draft another, like a top receiver in the draft, then by all means, move on. I am not of the mentality, though, that they have to get rid of him, that it's addition by subtraction. I don't get that. I don't love his foolishness, his distractions and all that, but teams can win with a diva-like receiver or distractions. They proved it a year ago. They won the Super Bowl with him reading books on the sidelines. Tampa Bay won the Super Bowl with Antonio Brown. All right? I know it got ugly at the end, but they won the Super Bowl with him. And so
they are light years apart as far as
Antonio was worse than this.
That's what he said.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think A.J.
And they still won the Super Bowl.
It has to be close.
Right, but I'm just saying, an even worse distraction, and they were able to win the Super Bowl. So that's where I'm at on this. And I also think this, Nick, Sean Mannion, and I don't want to make him out like he's, the next Kyle Shanahan. I'm just saying he does come from a nice tree. He just was in Green Bay with LaFleur. Mm-hmm. He's played for McVay and all these guys, Kevin O'Connell. I am sure his first order of business in his mind is, this is how I'm going to get the most out of A.J. Brown. He knows what Jalen can and can't do, and this is what I'm going to do to get the most out of A.J. Brown. So, again, I'm not against trading him, Nick, but I am against just giving him away and thinking it's addition by subtraction.
So I do think the Trent McDuffie trade just made this harder for other teams to acquire him.
Why?
Well, I mean, do you think who do you think is more valuable in this league, Trent McDuffie or A.J. Brown? It's at least close. And McDuffie just went for a 1, a 3, a 5, and a 6. And so when the reporting had been teams are willing to give up a 2, the Eagles want a first plus. If I'm Howie Roseman, I'm like, see, that's why. Want a first plus. A team just, wide receivers considered a more premium position than corner. AJ's under contract. Trent is going to get the biggest new contract. Like, that kind of emboldened, in theory, Howie Roseman's position on what he deserves for it. With that said, the Eagles are patently out of their minds if he's on the roster week 1. I wouldn't give him away for nothing because you won't have to. Teams will make you legitimate offers. Maybe not what the Chiefs got for McDuffie, but I'm certain they right now could get a solid second-round pick for A.J. Brown. And if that's the best you get offered, then you've got to take it. Because, Brew, you're right. You can win with the disgruntled receiver for a time, and then you must move on. Like Antonio Brown, you're right, Wild's different story. He moved on himself. But Stefon DIggs, was disgruntled for a bit, moved on in both places. Randy in New England. Eventually you have to move on. T.O., at multiple stops, but including in Philly. Got to a Super Bowl, was unbelievable. At some point, though, you got to move on. And I believe, and I thought, and this is where I'm surprised by it, I thought we all believed that the Eagles regretted, once they saw how the season ended, yeah, we probably should have traded him at the deadline. And so why sign yourself up for that again? It's not going to be better.
No.
I don't think, and I don't think Sean Mannion is just going to fix it all all in one fell swoop. It has been like this for consecutive seasons. It was like this when you had the glow of the Super Bowl win, you know what I mean, basking over the season. Now you have, man, we changed coordinators. We had a tough regular season. I had my worst statistical year. We got popped in round one. It's not going to be better. I just think you have to find out what your best offer is and take it. And because I do think it is something of addition by subtraction. Not to the point to where you would release him, but to where I just think you need to shake the snow globe of that locker room, even if I think a lot of his complaints, he wasn't the only one who had them. He was just the voice of them. Mm-hmm. I just don't think you can stick with the head coach and the quarterback and the wide receiver that's upset with something to do with one of the two of those guys.
I wrote, the Eagles and A.J.Brown are in a relationship where Valentine's Day is awkward, but no one wants to call a divorce lawyer. Like, they can still make it work. It's not great, but like you said, I'll read a book and win the Super Bowl. Does he get his numbers? He had 1,003 yards. So you want to be negative, it's 3 yards less than Michael Wilson of the Cardinals. He's much better than Michael Wilson of the Cardinals. He also had more yards than DK Metcalf, and DK Metcalf we don't hear DK Metcalf trying to get out of Pittsburgh.
Well, and he only complained, he is about the numbers. Yeah. Because remember, when they went through a stretch, it wasn't like a losing streak, but they were up and down as far as winning and losing. But he was getting targets and numbers, and he didn't complain.
Can we?
It's all about numbers.
Sometimes you're such a talented broadcaster.
Not really.
Sometimes your analogies are so good, it distracts from your sports point. Can we dive further into this awkward Valentine's Day?
Valentine's Day is super awkward.
And so
they're like, hey, we love. Well, the biggest thing about they're not ready to get. Nobody wants to just be out. If A.J. Brown wanted to be out, I want to be out. He could cause a bigger fuss. It's almost like, it's a little bit like Giannis.
No.
He does. It's totally different. He's like face of the franchise, everything. But man, you don't really want to leave.
I think
you don't really.
I think he definitively wants to leave.
Then leave. Then just make a stink.
So
is what you say. I want out.
Yeah.
I think
it's not hard. Just tweet something.
I think they're more iffy than him. I think they're more. I don't know if we want to get rid of me. So
that's what I'm saying. But if I tweet,
I think he
start. You know what you do? Start base level, entry level. Unfollow the Eagles on Instagram.
That might have happened.
Oh,
I mean, I don't know. I feel like there were a lot of A.J. Brown social media. He went on a dude's Madden Twitch stream and said, "Drop me from your fantasy team" during the season. I don't know how much more direct for your analogy.
That
you're
was
right.
Actually helpful.
No one wants to call a divorce lawyer, but are you scrolling Hinge in front of me?
No, he's just
like that.
He's just being nice. He's like, hey man, drop me. Yeah. Dust, are we ready to do Stefon?
Yeah,
we have the news.
You're not, but we are.
We have an IG post from Stefon DIggs. This is going to break my heart. The Patriots are releasing four-time Pro Bowler.
It's very nice.
Stefon DIggs. He had 85 catches, over 1,000 yards on 4 touchdowns. Thank you for a heck of the year. We're family forever. Oh, gosh. Yeah. And the real heart, not even the broken heart with a little tear on it.
So can I jump
in Patriots
real quick?
Yeah, of course.
Because KW on and off the air, was signaling massive alarm at the Chiefs releasing, I don't know, let's call it the 16th best right tackle in football. Stefon Diggs is a self-proclaimed by Wild top 5 receiver in the league. Who
I didn't say he's certainly playing like
right.
He was playing in like I don't think he's top 5, but Drake May's passer rating and his catch rate. Bring those up. Catch rate.
Exactly. All of that. I don't see a ready-made in-house replacement. This was something that I think is fair to say was not on your radar or our radar the day the season ended, like, oh, they're probably releasing Diggs. It did seem like the last few weeks there was local reporting this was going to happen. So what does this mean for your Patriots, buddy?
First of all, take everything you said about Trent McDuffie and then just put a Patriots.
Oh, you guys are getting picks for him? You guys are we got to fix the bar, guys. They're not cutting
No,
it.
we're not
They're
getting a sixth-round pick for him. Okay.
A first,
third, fifth, and sixth. If you guys are trading him for draft capital, I feel very differently.
Say that you're getting A.J. Brown or somebody like that.
I don't know. That's a great.
I mean,
that is a great question. So
that's what this could mean.
No, I have several questions I think this raises. Number one, and this is not the most fun thing to talk about, is this on the field salary or it is some off the field?
That's fair.
Developments weigh into this.
Yes.
It is what it is. I don't think we're.
No, the Chiefs might be in a similar situation with the receiver here sooner than later. So, like, I get that,
Yeah,
but
so
it's still
that might
but
be
that's
part
still
of it.
that almost makes it harder from a team building perspective, because
How
it
so?
means you didn't plan for it. If it's off the field that forces him off your team, it wasn't like part of
and who knows
plan.
what part of the equation? I don't
Sure.
think 100%. I don't think 0%. So
Sure.
what part of it? Question number two: who replaces him? So is that an A.J. Brown thing? What do we do with this money? Is it a draft thing? Is there like a Brian Thomas Jr. trade out there? So who's going to replace Stefon either from a production standpoint and from a leadership standpoint? I know like it's silly to talk about the vibes, but there was a maturation that we saw from Vikings Stefon Diggs to Patriots in the Super Bowl Stefon Diggs, and he really led that group, and some of the younger players talked about how he was a leader on the field. And three, for him, where does he go now?
Yeah,
This will be team 1, 2, 3, 4. This will be team 5, and this fourth team in 3 years.
Yep.
I don't know
or
that he
fourth
goes
team in 4
anywhere
years.
immediately.
Really?
I do think he has to probably clear up the off the field stuff,
Which might get resolved very quickly.
Right, but it also might it could get resolved in either direction quite quickly.
Yep.
But I do think at his age and given the games were excellent with him, and you're right, the vibes were really good. But it started the year before with a Zapruder filming the boat ride, and is that a lighter? Is that well, us googling what's Tootsie, and it ended the way it ended, and so it's to me the most shocking part of the Stefon Diggs year with the Patriots was his productivity. For me, like I was not surprised by any of the other stuff. And
leadership, that was
no, I can put that in the productivity. Okay.
And he was great.
He was.
And
great.
he was so good that I, during your playoff run, would have assumed, wow. I think it was a 3-year, $62 million deal, but it was a 1-year, $20 million deal. I would have thought they're probably going to bring him back.
He wanted to be back. I thought they were going to bring him back.
Well, look, and I'm not saying they're getting A.J. Brown, but I don't think you want 2 potential diva receivers in your building like that. And who are veterans who have a high opinion of themselves. So if I knew I was bringing in A.J. Brown and I'm the Patriots, I don't need Stefon Diggs either.
Stefon, he didn't exhibit any of those
No,
qualities
he didn't.
in the locker room.
But
he
it's
was
there.
the clear-cut
It's
number
always
one.
right.
If
He
you
was
brought
the
in A.J.
leader,
Brown,
all that.
he's no longer your number one. He's not your.
You
so
don't
what
need
you
him to
guys
lead like that.
Listen, you were right that Booty was better than we thought. And you have what's the kid, Kyle?
Kyle Williams.
Kyle Williams. It's a good pick. You'll see what but you need a true possession receiver.
Yes.
You need, which Diggs was, and so you see who
Alec
go
Pierce
get.
talk.
But Alec Pierce isn't that. He's a deep ball threat.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. Stop waiting around for the perfect candidate. Instead, use Indeed sponsored jobs to find the right people with the right skills fast. It's a simple way to make sure your listing is the first candidates see. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs have 4 times more applicants than non-sponsored jobs. So go build your dream team today with Indeed. Get a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
Dane Brugler of The Athletic released a new mock draft, has Jeremiyah Love of Notre Dame going to the Titans.
He broke Nick's heart with that.
At 4.
I'm not all
Join
over
Cam
this.
Ward and
they're
OC
moving up.
Brian Daboll. You got so upset you wanted to do this.
No,
You're furious.
So go ahead. Sorry.
How high is too high to draft Jeremiyah Love?
I think it is more team dependent than you can't take him 3rd, but you could take him 5th. Like I think, and the Raiders probably showed this last year in a pick I really liked, that there are some teams that actually aren't ready to draft a running back.
That's right.
You know what? That they have that.
I agree.
It is not that running back doesn't matter. It's not that a running back can't be the best player on your team. But if your team has enough other just glaring holes at what are more high-value positions, you need to use...
And even positions that'll keep that running back from shining.
Right. So, listen, the Raiders can't draft him at 1. They just drafted Genty, and they're drafting Fernando. I think it would be malpractice for the Jets to draft him at 2.
Yes.
And they just franchised.
Breece Hall. I think Arizona has far greater needs.
Agreed.
And I think the Titans have far greater needs.
Ooh.
There's only 2 players. There's only one player on the Titans I love, Jeffrey Simmons. And there's only one other one that I think I might one day love in Cam Ward. Like, I'll just leave it open for that. But if the Giants think they can address the offensive line in free agency, I think that would be reasonable. And if Washington thinks, forget the defense. The Giants are at 5, Washington's at 7. Forget the defense. We're just going all offense, and we want to give Jaden the best chance to succeed. I think that's more than reasonable.
Cleveland's
and obviously,
at 6,
Cleveland just took Judkins.
Yep.
And I think New Orleans needs every single place on the roster. So I think 5, 7, or 9 for the Chiefs. Like all of those teams, it would make sense in a way that I don't think would make sense for the Titans, but I wouldn't think it would make sense if they were at 6 instead of 4. Does that?
Yeah.
He'd be great if he's there, I don't think he'll be there at 9. If he is there, he would be great for the Chiefs, you know.
Sure.
I do think Tennessee makes sense because they feel like they have their quarterback. Now, I know they have needs elsewhere, but they do feel like we got our quarterback. If they didn't have their quarterback, I would say no, it doesn't make sense at all. But they think they've got him. And then where was Robert Saleh at last year? San Francisco, and he watched a running back carry that offense. And Love is not just a great runner, breakaway speed, breaks tackles, all that. He can catch the ball. Yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised if Saleh thinks we can utilize him like San Francisco utilizes McCaffrey. So I could see that happening.
Don't you think Robert Saleh will draft a defensive player, though?
I mean, Nick's right. They got needs all over the place. So it wouldn't shock me, but that wouldn't shock me either because I think you think that would be valuable. And this guy, sometimes some running backs we know are special. He looks special.
So I don't think Tennessee will take him. I think Saleh will draft linemen, either defensive line or offensive line. We just said the Giants. You just took Scatterbo in the 4th round. Now he's coming off a bad injury.
How long?
You also that showed that there's talent in the 4th round.
Correct. It also is John Harbaugh. What does his history tell us about him drafting a running back that high?
Well, he's always had great run games, but hasn't been like high-profile guys except for Derrick Henry.
Correct. And so, listen, I would project he will be there at 7. I don't know if he will be there at 9. And the weird thing, we're going to talk about this more, and we talk about Travis Etienne or Super Bowl MVP
Kenneth Walker.
Kenneth Walker, thank you. And the Chiefs. The Chiefs, I'm sure, really wish the draft was before free agency this year. Because I do think if he's there at 9, they would like to take him. But they're not going to know that until free agency's done. And can you pass on Kenneth Walker and Travis Etienne being like, we hope to draft Jeremiyah Love, and then he's not there, and it's like, wait, You know, so like that's
Walker's
where
going to want for running back pretty good money.
No,
so
and
I could see Etienne there.
But so you understand what I mean? Like
Yeah,
I don't think you can spend. I don't think anybody that signs Walker or Etienne can then draft Jeremiyah Love.
No.
You can't spend all that money on the running back and then also draft him. So that's a weird kind of balancing act you got to do.
Interesting. But if he's there, the Chiefs that's a no-brainer for you.
Well, yeah, but what if they give Travis Etienne a bunch of money?
They're not going to.
I don't know about that.
Really?
Yeah.
Live
Never
from
wanna
New York.
hang out with us.
I know.
He loves hanging out with other people.
That's
just
Yes,
amazing.
by the way, I don't think he'll.
Definitely will.
He's not gonna mind
Whenever
me
you're like
saying
that,
it's fine.
they are gonna
Guess
mind.
who would like to take the three of us and Danny, the whole First Things First and Overtime crew, to dinner?
Nacho, your buddy, your gambling buddy.
Broadcast Hall of Famer Dan Patrick.
Oh, I'm all in on that.
Oh, you're all in on that. I told him you might not be able to go.
Why?
Because you
Dan
said you don't
Patrick?
want to hang out with us.
I hang out with Dan Patrick. Never hung out with Dan Patrick. I hang out with you guys 70 hours a week.
You get paid for that.
Not the texts. Not the group chat.
We had a nice dinner
We did.
a month or two ago, whenever that was.
I agree.
We're due again.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if I have enough topics. Second hour, First Things First. Today, are we sure J.J. Redick and Luka are on the same page? And Vando is so good.
It was good.
And they reran it. Look at Luka.
Look at Luka like, I will knock you out.
Fired up. That's will be a fun story. Meanwhile, World Baseball Classic starts tonight. How dominant will USA be? And are we running into a bit of a pitching problem? We discussed.
Well, we got some heat.
Yeah, that's true. Right now, you're in for a real treat. Last night, while accusing an old friend of fraud because he lost at trivia, an elite committee of experts, analysts, and Chiefs optimists fought and toiled and burned the midnight oil to deliver the best segment in all of sports. It's an honor and a privilege. It's time for NBA Tears. The Chiefs optimist thing was a compliment.
Listen, if you're
It was a
gonna
compliment.
be out here firing shots, football shots during NBA Tears, then I'm Brew.
Being
And
called a
then
Chiefs
more
optimist is
confetti
an
just
insult?
fell. Brew, did you notice how on tilt KW was with the Diggs release?
Oh, yeah.
When he was like, it's the same as the Chiefs trading Trent McDuffie.
Yeah.
It's
What you got to do, you got to make
nothing
hard
like
It was
calls.
nothing like it.
Yeah, because we went to the Super Bowl.
This guy.
You lost,
See,
all right?
this guy
Barely.
is so on tilt. NBA
That's why you
Tears.
think we barely lost.
Who's eliminated? Show us the eliminated teams. It's the same six. No fresh eliminations. However, and this is where I'm glad KW doesn't see the tier names before we get them revealed.
Phew.
Because I feel like he would be like, don't do that. And I'd be like, we're doing it.
They're inappropriate.
Well, bottom of the tiers. Do not resuscitate. They don't want to be around it. They want to be eliminated so badly.
That is
The
true.
Bulls are doing everything they can to get to the eliminated tier. They're like, how are we not there yet? Same with the Grizzlies and the Mavs.
Oh, my goodness.
Just make it interesting. One team tier, the Bucks. Just make the last couple weeks interesting.
Well, let's hope it's.
That's what I'm saying. That's all
It
you
might
can
not
hope
be.
for. All you can hope for is if these are the final games for Giannis as a Buck, can they at least be interesting?
That
Can
might
it
be enough for Giannis to be like, you know what, sign me up.
No
so
such
be
thing as
it.
failure.
You know what? If that's what he wants, fine. But like, can they be 2 games back of the play-in with 5 to play? We're like, all right, if they go 4-1 and the Hawks go, I don't know, just that's the hope. Cancel the play-in. We don't need it in the Western Conference this year. We don't. Clippers, Suns, Lakers, Nuggets, Timberwolves, Rockets, Spurs, Thunder. Those are the best 8 teams. The Blazers, nice season, dealt with the fact that their head coach got popped by the FBI first day of the year. Denny Avdia hurt. It's a nice season. We don't need you we don't need you taking a playoff spot from, be the Suns or the Clippers or whomever. And the Warriors, it just ain't this year.
They just love the play-in, though.
I know the Warriors.
They're built for it.
They live in the play.
And so we don't need it in the West this
And
year.
they're
We might
dying
not
to
need
get
it in the
there,
East
too.
either, but we certainly don't need it in the West. First round fodder. Hawks, Heat, Magic. And now, by the way, I'm not certain all of these teams are actually going to make the real playoffs, but I am certain whichever of them do are just getting clipped in round one. The Hawks, I think, have made some savvy moves to set up their future.
Yes.
I get that. The Heat are kind of just stuck in this.
Giannis loved this take from me. They're the Steelers.
They're the
They're
Steelers.
right. They're like, now I'm not saying they don't want to, go hard, but they're locked in there, and they take pride in Heat culture.
It's
we
the
play
culture,
hard.
yeah.
Right. But they're not going anywhere.
I also
That's right.
like all this
Great
physical
take.
violence on Wild.
Every show.
It's happening all the time.
That's why you don't want to hang out.
I don't want to do the Trey Hendrickson story. Like, you know what I like about Trey Hendrickson?
And by the way, we didn't even mention the Magic, whose best player and head coach are in an open war against each other in the media. Best player comes out and is like, "What?" They're like, "What's the difference in the second half of games?" He's like, "Other teams make adjustments. We don't." Head coach comes out the next day. He's like, "No, the other team made no adjustments. They just kept playing hard, and we didn't." Nice. Not a wasted season. Suns, Sixers, Raptors. Not a wasted season. And I say that not patronizingly, sincerely. Hey, listen, Matt Ishbia has not been a great owner. However, they traded away Kevin Durant. Folks didn't believe in him. He barked at Simmons on Twitter. He's like, "Watch us this year." And you know what? He's been right. That team plays hard. They're better than they were last year.
Anti-tanking.
The anti-tanking, and I think that might be in part because I think he's traded away all the
Right.
picks he's legally allowed to trade. But still,
Some nice
and they're
ideas, though,
they're
for
gonna
All-Stars.
they're gonna get Booker back. They might get Brooks back. The Sixers, I think it's not a wasted season because I'm not writing them off entirely, but also, you got Edgecombe, right?
Yes.
And Maxey continues on the ascent. And nice kind of year in the progression for the Scotty Barnes Raptors. Even if you're knocked out in round one. You have our attention. Clippers, Hornets. It's nearly impossible to get our attention with the starts to the seasons these teams had. The Clippers obviously going 6-21, but have been really dynamic since, and Kawhi Leonard is playing, I think, the best basketball of his Clippers career.
Since he won it in Toronto.
Yeah, since that year in Toronto and since his last year in San Antonio. And the Hornets, just by every metric, for about 6 weeks, have been one of the 4 or 5 best teams in the NBA. And by certain metrics, like, they've been the best team.
They're going to be really interesting. I don't mean in the future. I mean,
mean
this
year in
let's
the
just
playoffs,
see,
how real
are
is
they
it?
really going to do anything?
The power. Oh, wow. Back to the tears, please. The power of PR. Got 24 losses. Can't play any defense. Have a do-it-all European first option. Well, one team. It's that one team is the apple of everyone's eye in the Nuggets, and the other team, well, they obviously can't do anything. Their resumes are startlingly similar, and I understand Joker is a better player than Luka, and Joker's a champ. But their resumes are about this far apart, and the way they are discussed about the failure or success of this season, about their chances to win a championship, are about this far apart.
Play tomorrow, must win.
So the Lakers have beaten, the Nuggets don't own the Lakers the way they did a few years ago. So double must win?
Maybe. It should be like one of those like WWE matches. Like from now on, you're the team that can win the
It
championship.
could be a double must win.
Double must win?
Could be, yeah.
Tune in Friday.
That one cousin. Rockets and Cavs. You want to believe in him. You want to be like, this time it's different. This time he'll pay me back.
Yeah. I was gonna say,
This
you're getting,
time
like,
he won't
$1,700.
get arrested.
Yeah.
This time he won't come to Thanksgiving high out of his mind. And then it's like, nope, same guy. And you just really want to believe they'll be different this year, but they never are. And I just feel like the Rockets, like, now they have Kevin Durant, and they seem to have weathered the tweet storm. But we probably know how their playoffs is going to end. And the Cavs, like, they're winning now without Donovan Mitchell.
8-1
and James Harden is turning, but
Killing.
we kind of know how that's going to end. Gotta happen eventually. Right?
Does it?
got to make the finals eventually.
Minnesota.
Timberwolves never done it.
Minnesota.
History of their franchise, never done it. The Knicks haven't done it
This century.
since the Clinton administration. They haven't, but they both have been, the Timberwolves in back-to-back years have been in the Final Four. The Knicks last year were obviously in the Final Four. Knocking on the door, you got to eventually it breaks through, and double bonus take. This is like, I don't know, maybe the third draft pick for the league office of ideal realistic finals. Knicks Spurs, I think, is number one.
Yes.
But Knicks Timberwolves with Ant having that surge might be number two. If we're going to say Knicks Lakers is not realistic and possible, I think, it would be a marquee finals matchup. Absurdly ahead of schedule. Spurs, Pistons, and the title really does say it all. Both of these teams are ridiculously ahead of schedule. The fact that the Pistons will be the 1 seed, the Spurs could be the 1 seed. The Pistons are not far removed from, is that the worst team ever? Like what's the losing streak?
22 or 23 straight. 23
right,
straight.
and Monty Williams, thanks but no thanks, and all of it to where they are. And the Spurs, coming into this year, it's like, all right, can we get a full healthy year out of Wemby? And the answer was, actually, no, we can't, and it doesn't matter because the team's good enough to sustain that. Wemby is at least on schedule, which, considering the schedule was be greater than Hakeem Olajuwon, that's pretty great. And they're way ahead of schedule's teams. Up to speed by May 1st? Question mark. That's a question for the Celtics. Can Jason Tatum be up to speed by the start of round 2? Round 1, I don't think they might not even need him or Jaylen Brown for round 1.
Charlotte.
Right.
I'd be worried about that.
I think at round 1 they're going to be fine no matter what. But round 2, they're going to play either the Cavs or the Knicks. Can Jason Tatum be not 100%? I think that won't happen until next season. But up to speed to where
Playing like a star.
and certainly to where he feels confident. He's got game shape, all of it. That's what I think the timeline is. And atop the tiers, entering their villain era, the Oklahoma City Thunder. They were flirting with it, with the Shea push-offs and the corny interviews. But
I like the interviews.
Of course, exactly. But Lou Dort combined with their, and I don't say this lightly, absurdly, rabidly annoying fans on the internet have made them a bit of villains, and they're champs. But they're the best team in the league, and they could be the first team to repeat in almost a decade. Right. That's the latest tier.
Buckle up. Put a helmet on.
Not bad.
Thank you.
Really? Well, look, the names, the titles. Derwin, is it?
No,
What's his name?
no, my goodness.
What's it? Clinton?
It's Marshall for
Marshall.
the NBA, for the NFL.
I knew it was one of those.
No, it's a
distinguished
totally
names.
different committee for the NBA.
Oh no, this is just you.
This is Tom.
Oh, Tom. Wait. Tom.
I'm going to have the same people be my NFL committee and my
doesn't make
NBA
sense.
committee? That doesn't even make sense.
Okay, well, Tom.
Tom.
Usually it's like
You should have let it be Derwin.
That it's
I think
it's
it
so
is
interesting. No,
Right, Derwin
no,
is cool.
Marshall and Mount. Those
The
guys
other
are
guys,
all on
they
the
all
NFL
got
committee.
great names.
The NBA
Yeah.
committee, it's Tom and Bill.
You got Thurgood.
Jake.
Isn't there a Thurgood?
Yeah,
on
that's
there?
NFL.
They're great. Wait, yeah, you got Tom, Bill, John
Just
on the
Jake.
NBA.
Brian and
It's just
Brian.
it's just how you now just making stuff up. Go ahead.
I like Derwin.
I thought it was Derwin. Anyway, yeah, the titles are good, but I got some issues. I think, Nick, the Spurs, I'm putting them up on the second tier with Boston. I get that Boston, and we're baking in Tatum being back, but the Spurs move up, and here's why. They are 6-1 against
sorry, bro.
the OKC, Boston,
Picture
and
bar.
Detroit.
Whoever wrote that,
Knicks being
grab a
chicken
cardboard
Vic
box from the stairs
I mean,
right
look,
here and put
you
stuff
know
in
who's
it.
doing it.
That's absurd.
It's Dusty. I don't even
That
know what
is-
that means.
That is
Knicks being
absurd.
a
It's
chicken
an
Vic
absurd.
Fuller. Okay, it's Dust. All
Okay,
right,
go ahead.
you should have ran that one by me, Dusty.
Okay.
But anyway, Move the Spurs up there. Like I said, 6-1 against the other 3 teams in the top 4. Here's the other thing, Nick. They've won 12 of their last 13, despite not playing at home since February 7th.
Road trip.
Yes. Well, even beyond it, because they had 2 home games in Austin.
But that's part of the rodeo road trip.
But they went 8-1 on the rodeo road trip, and then had some games in Austin and all
Austin
that
counts.
No, but it's not.
No,
you're
but they
still
count
not
as
sleeping
home
at
games, even
You're not
though you're
sleeping
not
at
at
home.
home.
The court says Spurs.
I
on it.
understand.
No,
Bill
it's
was
not.
Spurs
It's not
fan.
a home game.
It's a home game.
If the Knicks played at wherever St. John's plays in the Garden. If the Knicks played at Barclays, would that be a home game?
Basically, when they do play at Barclays, it's a home
I
game.
agree with you, bro.
Yeah,
It says Spurs there.
I understand, but
It's not like when the
it's just
Jags
the
play in
court.
London.
it's
That
just
doesn't
like
do it.
that. It says Jags on the court.
Right.
It's in
It is
Texas.
exactly
It's in
like that.
Texas.
Texas is huge.
I understand.
When
Texas.
they go to Dallas,
It's more
they're
than
in
an hour
Texas.
away. Yeah,
Houston's in
If the-
Texas.
The court said
Where'd you go to high
Spurs.
school? Where'd you go to college? Where'd you go? I forget.
Philadelphia. LaSalle University.
LaSalle. If Austin to San Antonio is about as far as New York City to Philly. So if the Knicks played at LaSalle and they made it a Knicks court, is that a home game?
People were cheering for the Spurs on those
I
games.
agree with you, Brew. Go ahead. They're not sleeping in their own bed.
Wait, the bed part has nothing to do
They
with
got to
it.
travel.
does have
Of
everything
course.
to do.
It's
These
not
are 7
bed-based.
footers.
Wake up in your own bed.
That's not what it's
they're
about.
7 footers.
It is not about
They got-
the
they
bed.
have feet
It
hanging
is
off
about
in
the
their
They don't have to
fans.
sleep diagonally.
No, it's
like
not
in the
about sleeping
hotel
diagonally.
and all
It's
that.
about the fans.
I
And they
disagree.
score and everyone cheers.
I disagree.
It's not about
Brew,
the
go ahead.
bed.
I
Okay.
agree. Yes.
Next
Ask
week.
DeAndre Ayton.
Yeah, next week. All right. So anyway,
Remember,
very
he got traded to Portland,
impressive.
didn't have a. He was sleeping on.
Oh,
air
DeAndre,
mattress.
yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
Sorry.
that
I
was-
agree with
that
you.
was a
Go
red
ahead.
flag.
That's
Go
why
ahead.
I say move the Spurs up. Now, my other movement is just the notch below the Knicks and the Timberwolves. I'm moving them up too to be with Detroit.
Oh, okay.
Right? Look, the Knicks we know 15-4, playing great defense, have beaten some good teams. Detroit, look, right now they're still my pick, but
Brew is
the
softening.
offense. I mean,
What a day.
when Cade isn't Superman,
He's out.
they struggle. I'm
He's
not
out.
totally out. I'm just saying.
You're out.
Like yesterday, Nick put the heat on him when he made him the best player in the league,
Well, he was
and
top of the
he went out and shot 4 for 16. And in the playoffs, teams are going to really get the ball out of his hands, try to keep him from getting 30 and all
Gone.
that,
Bruce-
and they don't
who
shoot
will
it
be
that well.
Bruce East?
And then when they might, Minnesota 7-1. Ant has had 2 40-point games in like his last 5 games or something like that. So Minnesota is a sneaky team out west.
Yes.
So I just think they should be on
And
the third team.
3 through 6 out west is going to be a real dogfight down the stretch.
Yeah.
Between Houston, Minnesota, Denver, and the Lakers.
Yep.
Go ahead, KW.
I hope the bar that I requested is accurate of what I'm going to say. Because I feel like if it comes out one way, I'm going to start a firestorm. I'll really kick the hornet's nest, if you know what I mean.
Let's see. What's the bar?
Dusty, please reveal the bar. I hope it says the Hornets are playing better than the Lakers. I'm not necessarily saying that they are better than the Lakers. They're 1-1 on the year. Most recently, the Hornets beat the Lakers moderately easily. But the Hornets are now 500 and are a brand new team. I think they are. I would flip-flop the Lakers and the Hornets, even though maybe the power of PR. Remember, LaMelo got all those first place votes. They win last night. They won 5 in a row. Now, LaMelo had some, he's doing his normal LaMelo stuff. Believe it or not, LaMelo, not the most
He
efficient
did
shooter.
take some bad shots.
Well, that one went in. It was 4 for 13 from 3. Since January 1st, this is according to Zach Roberts, he's led the NBA in plus minus. I was like, holy cow, that one shocked me. Last 20 games, Charlotte's 16-4, the Lakers are 12-8. Winning games by double digits. Offense has been better than the Lakers.
What's that bottom line say? Best in NBA. They have the best record in the NBA since
January 18th. It's shocking. So we're like, all right, are they just a great offense team? They shoot up a bunch of threes. Everyone's scoring like 19 points, Brandon and Con and LaMelo. The defense, sneaky great. Last 20 games, top 5 defense. Defensive rating 106 is good for 6. I'm not saying they're better than the Lakers.
No, but
they're currently playing better than the Lakers.
But here's my problem.
They're 500.
Because Wilds is like, I'm not as good at the analogies as you, but you're like someone that likes unpopular things, and to draw attention to it, you try to contrast it with a super popular thing, because you could have done this Hornets thing as to why they're better than the Nuggets or the Rockets or the Cavs or the Timberwolves or literally any team.
You want me to move them all the way up? I'm just trying to move them one spot up.
But so that's the thing is this. The Hornets have been the best team in basketball the last 20 games. That's what that graphic said.
I wasn't wrong.
That's what the graphic said. They can stand on their own 2 feet.
You want to put them number 1?
But no, what I'm saying is this is not really, Brew, so much about Wild's love for the Hornets as much as it is about his somewhat inexplicable disdain for the Lakers.
Well, yeah,
I like the Lakers.
I mean,
it is that the Hornets should move up and the Lakers should move down. That's what he's saying.
That's what he's saying.
Is it like I'm just moving the
12? Then why not do it?
You guys would scream at me. I just want to move the Hornets up one spot. The spot goes up.
But you know who's not 12-8 in their last 20? Who's on the same line as the Lakers? The Nuggets.
They play on Thursday.
No.
And that game will determine if we did this on Friday, maybe I would. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Listen, buddy, it's
okay.
I might.
The Hornets are playing great basketball right now.
That's what I said.
I am also again, and then I'll be quiet. When the Lakers beat Tomato Can, KW mocked us for mentioning it. Who was on the other side of that LaMelo highlight? I'm just curious.
It was the Mavs without Cooper Flag.
Okay, yeah. A Mavs team that has given up.
Well,
that is not
But
trying to
in your
win.
defense, we expect the Lakers to beat the Tomato Can.
Yes.
Charlotte is a
tomato
couple
can.
months removed from being a tomato
They're
can.
they're not even above 500.
Yeah.
They're at 500 for the first time in
Who knows?
It's been
no
a
way to
long
tell.
time.
a long
They don't
time.
keep
Troy,
those types
maybe
of
a
records.
long
LaMelo's
time.
second year.
This late in the
This is
season?
LaMelo's second year, probably.
Oh, I was going to
he
say
made
that.
an All-Star
Kemba,
that year.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, there you go. That's Tears.
Great job.
Coming up next, who got franchise tag? I know you're dying to hear about Trey Hendrickson.
We got you
You
covered.
came to the right spot. I know no other national shows talking about the
Plenty of national shows talk about Trey Hendrickson, buddy.
The Desert Double stage is set this weekend. IndyCar and NASCAR back-to-back, one track. IndyCar is on Saturday. Alex Palou trying to win second race of the year. And then Michael Jordan, Tyler Reddick going for the 4-peat.
If Reddick wins again, I'll shave my head.
You just get a solid.
You are dying to shave your head.
A solid here. Fox for Indy, FS1 right here for NASCAR. No huddle, no franchise tag. We're starting in Seattle, thank goodness. I couldn't wait to get to the Trey Hendrickson stuff. I got nervous. Seahawks don't tag Super Bowl MVP Kenneth Walker. He'll be a free agent after spending all 4 of his years in Seattle. Nick, were you surprised the Seahawks let Walker walk?
No, I think that the Zach Charbonnet injury, while unfortunate for Charbonnet, obviously, who's the other running back in Seattle, probably made the general public feel like Seattle featured Kenneth Walker over the bulk of the season more than they actually did. This was a true, dual load backfield, and one thing that dates all the way back to Deion Branch or Larry Brown in '95 with the Cowboys. Hell, the guy who threw, the tight end, Dust will know it, who threw the Philly special for the Eagles. Trey Burton. Huge Super Bowl moments, much less Super Bowl MVPs, net you big paydays in free agency. And I think Seattle was not going to give him that type of money and didn't want to tie up $14 million for a running back who is not even really their feature back. He is used more than Charbonnet, but yes, a 1A, 1B type of thing. And I think he's going to get huge money. And so, no, this doesn't. Right now, there's 2 running backs making around 20. There's 5 running backs making $14 million plus. I bet he gets $16, $17 million a year. And so, no, I'm not shocked by this.
I'm not either. Look, and credit to Kenneth Walker. He did show he's capable of being like.
I agree.
Very few teams have one feature back. But he showed he's capable of being the bell cow, right? Because they were concerned about that when Charbonnet got hurt, so credit to him. But I agree, Nick. And I don't think it was necessary to lock him up at $14 million a year. Like, they got other things they need to do. I think they feel like Charbonnet, maybe some of their other backs, and they probably haven't written off maybe being able to bring him back. I mean, it depends on what other teams offer. I'd be a little surprised if he's at 16, 17. Derrick Henry's making 15. I don't think he's more valuable than Henry. He played great. He obviously was great in the Super Bowl. But it'll be interesting. I wouldn't be so surprised if he's under 14.
Oh, so
because he's not like a top 5 back in the league.
I agree with you, but that's kind of the point I'm making about the glow of the big Super Bowl. Like which is. So I would be surprised if he comes in under $15 million. I would be. And I think he is a really, really good back who doesn't catch the ball. And so that is...
So that makes it hard for him to be like
right, so that's the one thing that could kind of be...
Yeah, he had 3 catches in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but am I wrong? Like
no, I think you're right, but he had, I think 161 yards from scrimmage. He had 25 or so.
135 rushing, yeah.
So... Super Bowl kind of hurt my feelings.
Yeah, totally. You're sillying over it, man.
Here's our guy.
Not great. We're in Cincinnati.
You know what will make you feel better? Bringing in this big galoot to the Patriots.
Trey Hendrickson's now a free agent. Down year last year, marred by injury. Only had 4 sacks. He missed 10 games. And prior to that, he was around 17 in back-to-back years for a Bengals defense that, check my notes, wasn't good. What's the best landing spot for Trey Hendrickson?
Everybody, of course, could say Dallas, and I wouldn't be mad at that at all. But I'm going to say maybe I'm being a little selfish. I like to see him in the purple and black. Baltimore. Their pass rush was non-existent. Like, they were 30th in the league with the pass rush. Remember, just a few years ago, they had this great pass rush. So I think it's a veteran team. He's obviously a veteran. It's all about the Super Bowl. So I think he would be a good fit there because they clearly need to upgrade their pass rush.
So I don't know if Trey Hendrickson, what his top priority is. If his top priority is most money possible, then what I'm about to suggest will not happen. If his top priority is sticking it to the Bengals, then it could happen. And that would be Baltimore, Buffalo, New England, Kansas City on, a high salary 1-year deal, and then
don't you think he's going to want a long-term deal?
I guess when 1 year in the way Stefon DIggs deal was a 1-year deal. It was 3 years, $63 million, but it was anticipated by, I guess, a lot of parties that they would cut him after 1 year. But DIggs made $21 million this past year. Because I don't know, Hendrickson, it's not like he's coming off a rookie deal. Hendrickson did get paid by Cincinnati. Yeah. He just thought he was under market, and then he got franchise tagged and was angry. And the only people that should be angrier than Trey Hendrickson about this are Bengals fans, because this is a case study in how to squander an asset. They made it very clear they were not going to pay him, and they were too prideful to then trade him for something at any point along the way.
A 5th round.
And
by the way, last offseason, a year ago, he's coming off back-to-back 17.5 sack years. He's already been through a year of a contract dispute. You're not paying him. You could have traded him a year ago, not for a 5th round pick, for a second and something. Like, he was considered one of the top pass rushers in the league, and they didn't do it. And so, if you're a Bengals fan, you have to be so mad at this process here. Like, this is, to me, and again, I know this is the opposite of what the Chiefs did with McDuffie. With McDuffie, they're like, all right, this is his final year of his rookie deal. We know we're not ever gonna give him the $30 million a year. We're gonna trade him at his value at the absolute highest and, get the return, instead of being like, no, play this year out, then next year be angry we don't give you a deal, we'll franchise tag you once, and then you walk for nothing. Like, Joe Burrow should be so frustrated in this. But I do think there is a chance he signs with a different AFC contender.
It'd be interesting.
It's also possible, to your point, he goes to Dallas or goes somewhere just for the most money.
He's 31.
Yeah.
And the contract, I mean, we joke around, we've covered a lot of his dispute with the Bengals. Missing those 10 games, if he was on a team that has a real playoff push, do you think that he could have?
Oh, that he
maybe
could have been
gone,
back for the end of the year?
Maybe. I'm not saying, but I think he was extra. Let's say he prioritized his health for a team that.
Which he should have.
100%. 31 though?
31 for pass rusher isn't 31 for wide receiver or running back, but it is to me more of a year-to-year spot.
Yeah. Next up, the Prince losing a member of his court. Travis Etienne rushed for 1,100 yards, bro. 7 touchdowns, also caught 6 touchdowns. Almost had 300 through the air. Nick, what is the best spot for Travis? He's not necessarily leaving.
Oh, I think he's leaving, and I think this is where I could see the Chiefs doing something. I don't think the Chiefs can sit out running back free agency and just be like, man, Jeremiyah Love at 9, because there is real reason to fear he will not be there at 9, and there is also real reason to think he could be there at 9 and not be the best pick because Reuben Bain or a marquee pass rusher, or maybe they love one of the wide receivers and they're worried about Rasheed's future, whatever it is. I like this. If the Chiefs were to sign, a relatively big name running back, I like Travis more than Kenneth Walker because of
pass catcher,
his threat as a pass catcher and his ability, you know what I mean? I think to be a real chess piece in that offense. So I think the Chiefs make sense. I think that there's I think Cincinnati, if they want to go, I don't like their running game as much as I think Brew necessarily does. I think that also Denver. You know what I mean? Makes sense. I'm not as high on R.J. Harvey as some, but I think Travis Etienne's a very good player. Not a great player, but a very good player.
I agree with those teams make sense, and particularly the Chiefs. But how about Houston?
But they just traded for David Montgomery.
Oh, that's right.
So I think that they wanted to. They clearly wanted to upgrade, but they traded
I like
for
Montgomery better though. I like the Chiefs.
I don't like this one at all for the Prince.
I don't either.
The Jags, it's not like they didn't get over the hump.
they had a
They're not in
relationship with college teams.
Yeah, they're not in this is what successful teams do. It's not the Trent McDuffie story. It's not the Kenneth Walker story where you're the main guy and the team was unlocked offensively. I don't know.
Well, again, what would his franchise would have been?
14 million.
They probably didn't want to lock him in at 14 million. Maybe they can get him for less. Who's giving him 14 million?
Well, so that's the other thing about all these guys. It is to be reminded, usually when guys hit free agency, they end up leaving. But not always. Like and I know what Seattle, the local reporting with Seattle at least is, that they've told Kenneth Walker, go see what's out there, and maybe we'll match.
Right.
I don't know. The reason that I do think he's gone there is there was real smoke last training camp that he could be traded, that Travis Etienne could be the odd man out in that backfield. Then he had the best year of his career, or arguably the best year of his career. I mean, I've always liked him as a player. I liked him at Clemson, and I think he's still got a lot left in the tank.
I think it's a step backwards for the Jags.
I don't like losing him.
Coming up next, the Jags did it to me.
I already got 2 guys.
Really?
Yeah.
Who is it?
I'm not going to
Who's on the bubble? Who's on the bubble?
I'm not saying.
Paul
I don't know
Skeens.
who's on the bubble, but I know. Skeens, you want me to put him on the bubble?
Yeah, well, I've got
I hadn't thought about the World Baseball Classic.
Paul Skeens.
We've only won it once out of 5 times.
We should win, but Skeens going to have too much rest to start the final. Tune in tomorrow.
We got great WBC takes.
New segment called Take of the Day. We're talking about A.J.Brown potentially leaving Philadelphia. Unfortunately, I won the first.
Wow!
Really?
That was
It's awkward, but no one
Valentine's
wants to
Day
call.
is awkward, but no one wants to call a divorce lawyer.
Okay, you know what?
I'm
fine with that.
Take of the day. 1-0 Wilds. We are going to.
So we got to keep score. And are we also going to use this time, since this is new, we're figuring out in real time, to revisit that topic?
I think so.
Yeah, I think we just briefly revisit it.
Oh.
So I feel like A.J. Brown did call a divorce lawyer. I feel like A.J. Brown, all of his actions at the end throughout last year were making it very clear, I don't want to be here. You make a good point. It is odd he has not just said, I don't want to be here. But does anybody think he doesn't want them to trade him?
Though. I know someone who has walked away from his marriage.
Yes, sometimes
doing his thing, but isn't looking to get divorced at least right now.
Okay, I've heard.
So
I wasn't supposed to be a literal thing.
I'm just saying, I'm saying this guy I know is doing what Nick's saying. He's showing you I want out, but he's not going there and saying I want out.
If he wants out, be out. That's it. Myles Garrett said he wanted out. Lamar said he wanted out. Nothing happened.
Hold on.
It has to be more of an NBA Anthony Davis style. I want out. You show up with a shirt that says "That's all, folks," and be like, "I don't know. I don't pick out these shirts."
And I'm going to torture the analogy because it was so good. But the flip side is, the Eagles not only have called the divorce lawyer, but if they're talking with teams about trades, they have decided, I want a divorce. I just want to make sure I'm getting enough of the assets.
I don't think they actually.
And if I'm not getting enough of the assets, I can make it work for
but that doesn't work.
Yes.
Nobody, you can't
if
be
you
like.
change, that's what they're saying.
See, I think the Eagles have, once you start negotiating trade terms, then you are signaling, we are done with this player.
Yeah, but once they're saying, look, you're not giving me half? I'm not even getting a quarter. You know what? No, we'll stay together.
This is take of the day. It's great, KW.
Take of the day again. It was a tortured analogy at this point.
It was a great analogy.
Coming up next,
shouldn't have been
A.J. Brown is getting
the
traded.
way we went.
I believe he's getting traded.
You got to take of the day.
Well, the Patriots should get it now.
Live from New York, fresh episode of First Things First Overtime. How does Trent McDuffie to the Rams impact Patrick Mahomes? Well, he responded with one word, and it wasn't savvy move.
Are you sure it wasn't just listing his favorite Kendrick Lamar albums?
I don't know.
Quite a coincidence.
Perhaps.
Do you have to do that, though? Even if he's like, I get it, but you have to do that?
You're
the leader of the
question.
team.
That's a good question. Meanwhile, who should go all in for Maxx Crosby? Maybe nobody.
Wow, somebody will.
King's ransom.
Yeah,
I don't
You
buy
saying
it.
nobody?
You're not buying it.
I'm not buying King's ransom.
Well, it's going to go for more than McDuffie. McDuffie went for
That's not a King's ransom.
what,
A first-round pick.
a first, a third, a fifth, and a sixth. If you're going to go for more than that, that means you're going for 2 firsts. The only thing more than a first, third, fifth, and sixth is 2 firsts. And 2 firsts is King's
second.
ransom.
What about first, second, third?
Oh, yeah, you know what? You're right. All right, yeah.
Also, stats are cool. Don't forget, we had a lot. These are breaking news stats.
Yeah.
Stuff was happening. Stuff was moving, bro. You can't
He's
believe
been
it.
working, yeah.
Chris Broussard, Kevin Wildes, Nick Wright, Harkins. Welcome back.
Thank you.
I don't know why we did a show the other day.
What are you talking about,
Good to see you.
I don't know.
He is, can I say
It's wins.
I don't know. I know you've been grinding. I don't know how much of the show you've seen.
I've seen a lot.
Wildes has been on tilt since the Diggs news came down.
Not great.
Confetti dropped
His
on his
head is
head, which
spinning.
remind him of the Super Bowl loss.
Yeah.
We did Kenneth Walker
Then
highlights.
Diggs got released.
Yeah.
And he is really,
Wasn't great.
yeah, we'll carry you, buddy.
Yeah,
we got your back.
I tried to soothe myself with the balm of the Hornets being 31 and 31.
That's not going to do it. Yeah.
Didn't
How'd that go?
Do it, yeah.
Wasn't great. We're starting in Kansas City. Trent McDuffie traded to the Rams. Kansas City receiving pick number 29 in the first round, as well as a 5th, 6th in 2027. Third, Danny, you had some time to react to this, as did Patrick Mahomes, who tweeted, "Darn, but it was damn." Your reaction to this news, Danny?
Well, it's very on brand for both teams, which is why, I did this when you guys were out. I talked about this as a trade that was going to happen back in a couple weeks ago, and Bill Barnwell But it was a pretty easy one to piece together because the Rams had such big problems in the secondary.
Right.
And the Chiefs don't pay corners, and Les Snead says F them picks, and the Chiefs kind of say F them corners. So it was a pretty easy dot to connect. And I love it for the Rams, and I don't know how long you can keep getting away with it if you're the Chiefs. I know why they deserve the benefit of the doubt, but I don't think all of the corners that they've let go are created equal in terms of their age, their injury history, when they were going to pay them, how much they were going to get paid. And McDuffie's really good. He is a really good, versatile, young, you drafted him, you developed him corner. Those are the types of players that, at a premium position, those are the types of players that, generally speaking, your organization wants to reward and keep. And so I wouldn't be celebrating it. I understand it because of the haul that they got, but it's very likely that whoever you take at 29 is either going to be a corner to replace McDuffie,
right,
or a player who will just be worse than McDuffie.
Yeah, well, so it's that. It's also the $30 million of cap space that it would have taken to keep him. And
which you can move around, but yeah.
But so you can't move it around infinitely.
Yeah.
And in perpetuity. And if the hope is to contend basically every year of the next decade of Mahomes' 30s, or at least, the next 7 years, that bill comes due unless you do things like this. I love Trent McDuffie. I think he's the best slot corner in the league. Versatile is not necessarily the word I would use because I don't think he's a great outside corner, but I think he's the best slot corner in football, and that's super valuable, and he's a very good blitzer as well. Mm-hmm. But here's where I will defend the process. Forget the fact that when Bill Barnwell suggested it, he thought the trade would be McDuffie and a 5th from Kansas City for just the 29th pick. Instead, it was McDuffie with nothing else attached to him for the 29th, a 5th, a 6th, and a 3rd in next year's draft. But the Chiefs are trying to do something only one other team in NFL history successfully did, which is essentially contend year in, year out with a blip here or there for more than a decade consecutively. And the team that did that did moves like this all the time. What are the huge contracts the Patriots gave out to guys not named Tom Brady or Rob Gronkowski? There aren't many.
No,
a few offensive linemen, which the Chiefs have done. Sure. Yeah, they went out and signed an excellent corner. In a free agency, they went out and signed. I forget who it was, but it was a big name corner late in Brady's.
Was it Gilmore?
Gilmore as well, but it doesn't matter. It's not that they never spent money.
Revis?
I don't remember, but maybe it was Revis. But it's not that they don't spend money, but they are very judicious with it, and they are not afraid to sell high on a player, to let a player walk because they think it's too much money, or to trade Richard Seymour away in the middle of his prime because the return is too great to turn down. And the fact that they were able to get 85-90% of what they got for Tyreek Hill, and the Tyreek Hill trade netted them the defensive pieces that led to 3 consecutive trips to the Super Bowl, to me says the process is sound. You have to nail the picks. Obviously, you have to nail the picks.
Right.
They nailed them in the 22 draft. They didn't in the 23 draft. We'll see what they do in the 26 draft.
Well, look, I love it for the Rams. I think also with that pass rush, McDuffie could even be better.
Agreed.
For the Rams, right? So I think it's great for them. And I'm tempted to I feel like they might be the best team in the NFC.
Whoa.
There's something in me against going with the Rams, maybe because of these little skits or whatever.
Yeah.
But this is big for the Rams.
They got better.
I just don't feel like picking the Rams in the NFC, but I think that they got better, and I think they look great right now. For the Chiefs, I'm kind of with Danny in that. I said this earlier. They don't feel elite to me right now, and I agree. If they nail, and Veach has been good, if they nail these picks, then yeah, because they did get more than I would think they would have gotten. All right, so if they nail the picks, it could be good. It could work out. Mm-hmm. But right now, they got to do that. And I don't know if it's just Mahomes' injury, but I don't feel like they're definitely going to be right back there in the hunt. I like Denver and the Chargers right now better than them in their division. So I think I would not be surprised at all if this is just kind of let's just rebuild it. It might be a tough year. Maybe we win 9 games but don't make the playoffs. And then a year from now or 2 seasons from now, they're back in the hunt.
The only thing I'll quibble with you, Nick, is I think it's more like 70% of the value of the Tyreek Hill trade than 85%. I just think things have changed. I don't think the late round picks are as valuable now because more guys are going back to college because of NIL, and it's a future third round pick as opposed to the Tyreek Hill draft. It was in that draft that they had, so there was pick certainty. Like you knew when it was coming, and it was a second instead of a third. So it's a little bit more than I would have thought for McDuffie, but I don't think it is some sort of overwhelming draft haul.
It's almost what the Jets got for Quinnen Williams. I think it is.
It's a good return.
I also anticipated that this trade could happen. And I think Wilds is with me because I was in your office when we heard the terms of it. Mm-hmm. I was surprised that they got quite as much as they did. Now, again, you have to hit on the picks, but the other piece of it is, and this is the point that I would make, then we can leave it. If they didn't do this, they had 2 other options. One is play out your 5th-year option and then walk for nothing, or franchise tag him and then walk for nothing. That, to me, is disastrous team management. It's the cheapest way, and for next year, for this coming year, it's probably he's going to be better than the 29th pick and the 5th rounder next year. The other option is pay him. Have the single, and now go into next season with the highest paid D tackle, the highest paid center, the second highest paid guard, the highest paid quarterback, and the highest paid corner, who, by the way, doesn't play outside corner. That, to me, is bad process and not sustainable. So the number one goal, yes, is to draft good players and keep them forever. The number 2 is draft good players, have them play for you when they're basically free, and then turn them into more free players.
That totally makes sense.
And so, but
I think I totally buy that if you were Brett Veach and if I was Brett Veach and you were Clark Hunt, and good news, we're the new Patriots. We are not going to have a little dynasty. We are going to be the dominant team for a decade
years.
Plus. And if I was Clark Hunt, I'd also be like, we're also a 6-win team.
Patriots didn't have a losing season.
Yeah. We're also a 6-win team with an injured quarterback who just traded away our best defensive player or second best defensive player. Through that lens, I'm a little more shocking. I like the Patriots stuff a little bit more, but
makes the draft fascinating.
Well, yeah.
A team in Mahomes in his prime with 2 first-round picks.
3 picks in the top 40.
Yeah.
And so they can move around. The extra third could be used to move around.
I think you like picking back, too. 29, it's where you're comfortable.
No, well, that's the thing is I think I could see that. I don't think they're going to trade back from 9, but I would be surprised if they make the picks at 29 and at 40. Now, I don't know if that means they moved up or they moved back. Up. But, that's how they got Trent McDuffie. They had the 29th pick from Miami. They traded that to New England, I think, to move up to get McDuffie.
Would you want them to try to move up to assure that they get Love?
If they move up in the top 9, it has to be because for a pass rusher, not to move up for Love. I like Love a lot, but I think pass rusher is a bigger
draft talk.
Oh, yeah, I don't like it. I like it.
All right, some sad news coming out of New England. The Patriots are releasing 4-time Pro Bowl wide receiver Stefon DIggs, who triumphantly came back from an ACL injury and played great. 85 receptions, 1,000 yards, 4 touchdowns, and also went to the Super Bowl. Thank you for a heck of a year. We're family forever and a nice heart. Not even the heart with the little bandages around it. Just the raw heart in there.
But then
no
he
bandages.
unfollowed him.
So
are we really family forever?
Well, yeah, if you have the heart with the bandages, it means one thing. The raw red Valentine's Day heart means another.
Everyone knows that.
Yeah.
Danny, what's the question here?
What does this mean for the Patriots?
It's not great.
Yeah, I'm pretty surprised by it. I know there were articles talking about how he could be a cap casualty, but maybe they could have restructured the deal. it seemed like such a good fit, and he seemed to like it so much and was so productive, and they won, and he was touted as a leader, that I got to be honest, I didn't see this one coming. And you've got a lot of cap space, so maybe you guys become the Alec Pierce destination, and then you just like pay at the top of the market for him. But I also think you guys are going to be the team most linked to A.J. Brown. Like I think that just
sure.
Now, my gut tells me A.J. Brown stays in Philly. You and I disagree on that. But if he gets moved, I would bet strongly that it's New England. That they would just trust that Vrabel's culture would be
and
his relationship and May's arm would make A.J. Brown be on his best behavior, and you would then be upgrading from Diggs to A.J. Brown. But I feel like this makes it's priority 1, 2, and 3 almost for the Patriots. Like they need to fix and fill this production. I'm very surprised by it.
Yeah, that's what it means to me. Go get A.J. Brown. That's what, because I don't need A.J. and Stefon Diggs. And I get Diggs was a great soldier this year. But 2 guys with diva tendencies I don't need. A.J. is better, obviously, than Stefon Diggs right now. And he would be and like Danny said, he's got a quarterback that's going to be throwing him the rock all season long. It's not going to be anything like Philly, where they're throwing it 25 times a game. And so he's going to love it. And they're a good team. He's got the relationship with Vrabel. Go get A.J. Brown.
Would you give up pick 31?
For A.J. Brown? Yes.
Okay.
I mean, if A.J. Brown was all of a sudden at the combine, here's A.J. Brown.
But yeah, I mean,
that guy looks great.
Yeah, he's more expensive, older than the guys at the combine. But yeah, I mean, A.J. Brown would get 150 targets on the Patriots next year.
Yeah,
so
he would be great.
So this is why, even though I don't think it's a stunning move, Danny's point about you guys aren't. Some teams cut productive players for cap reasons because they have to get cap compliant. It's like that. That was the Chiefs with Jawan Taylor, and again, he wasn't as productive as Stefon Diggs, so maybe it's not a perfect example. But it seems like, no, this is a good player who, all things being equal, would like to keep on the roster, but we're literally going to be against NFL rules if we're not under the Patriots already had cap space. So freeing up $20 more million was not a necessity. But it did create a necessity on the roster.
Correct.
I thought they potentially needed another wide receiver even with Diggs. Now, to your point, they definitely do. I think they definitively need another pass rusher, and I think they need offensive line help. And now this priority jumps up. I personally would say to you, if you guys are going to trade for a receiver, the Vrabel relationship notwithstanding, I would trade for Brian Thomas Jr. before I try to trade for Brian Thomas Jr. before I try to trade for A.J. Brown. He's younger.
He's amazing.
It's he seems to have fallen a bit out of favor in Jacksonville. They have Travis Hunter coming back, and he can kind of grow a same timeline as Drake May. Not that A.J. Brown's anywhere close to over the hill, but for a receiver, he probably has 2 prime years left, and so that's a different spot.
The reason why it was surprising to me when he signed this deal, I think there was a lot of question marks. Are you going to be a problem in the locker room? No. Are you going to look like yourself coming off of an ACL? Yes. Can we win games with you? We went to the Super Bowl. You had 1,000 yards. So it felt like.
So do you think it's just the off the field?
I don't. I haven't been following the legal in and outs of that. With a fine-tooth comb, I guess, but. It's not nothing, certainly.
But they can upgrade, too. A.J. Brown is a big upgrade over Stefon Diggs.
Look, A.J. Brown is great. I just think Stefon Diggs on the field kept his end of the bargain.
So you're blindsided by this, too?
Not blindsided because there started to be sort of tremors that it was going to happen.
He's not blindsided. He's crestfallen.
I am crestfallen.
That might be worse. That might be worse.
Got to the Super Bowl. Yeah. All right, good news. I know you think stats are just for policy wonks, you know what I mean? If you're in the auditing office. It's not true, okay?
No.
They're actually pretty cool. Here to prove it to you is Danny Parkins with the with the segment called Pack Stats. And again,
we're ready, Kate.
I'm ready to go, man.
Let's
Just because I'm putting on my gloves while you throw it to me is fine. That doesn't take away from the coolness of the stats.
Get that one off.
Dude, it's really small. It's very small.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. But I was just curious if you guys wanted to know what else.
Not what else has got to just start.
Size not mattering. Oh, can I open this up?
Size not mattering?
That's right. Big things in small packages. Get it?
Swing and a miss there.
We took a poll. Would KW like that one? Everyone said no. I did it anyway. Kyler Murray. Better than he's given credit for.
Oh, come on.
Thank you.
Total yards per game, quarterback since
He's as good as Lamar.
2019. He's not as good as Lamar.
Wow, 1 yard short, not even a yard.
But yeah.
I'm not saying
One
he is
step.
as
14
good.
inches short of being as good as Lamar.
Love
Okay, but like in terms of, yes, I understand commitment issues. I obviously know how tall he is. But are you really saying that if with the best coaching that he's ever had, with the best receiving that he's ever had, with the, as you put it yesterday, the realization of, oh man, I got to be a pro right now. I just got fired. I've failed for the first time in my life. That if he goes to a better situation than he was in, that the best football could not possibly be in front of him.
People thought he was in a great. This is what I don't like.
Great call.
When he was young.
People thought he was in a great situation with Cliff Kingsbury. People loved Kingsbury. Everybody
want
but
a bunch
me.
of-
And his glass house and his feet up on the
I
thing.
forgot about the glass house. That was cool.
That glass house is cool.
And he is, Danny, you do not believe he's one of the 20 best quarterbacks in football. So why is he going to excel?
Just stats, man. Stats are cool.
The total yard, that stat right there made me question total yardage. If he's the 6th most productive. And again, I'm very curious the qualifiers put on at minimum 80 starts, how many guys are not eligible because of the number of starts. I don't know. But
I mean, playing matters.
I agree.
Playing
But
games
He don't play as much.
But I think the fact that he is 87 starts into his career and the same age as Sam Darnold is right now, not Darnold when he left the Jets, Darnold right now, makes me think he is who he is.
Do you not, if we would have taken, like, remove this year of the team's success of Sam Darnold, so just like go back in your mind 12 months, who is the better player, Sam Darnold or Kyler Murray?
After Darnold's Vikings year, I would have said Darnold.
Pre-Vikings, right?
No, he's saying pre.
I would have given you the Vikings year, but sure, go there. Like
it would have been arguable after just the one Vikings year,
Absolutely
particularly
it
with
would
the
have been.
meltdown at the end of the season and in the
But
playoffs.
that's okay. I mean,
like some people would have said.
I wouldn't have gone that far, but pre-Vikings, I would definitely say Kyler. And when you get to the time for cool stats. Sorry, guys.
So since I know what is cool, I also know what isn't cool. Do you know what isn't cool?
What?
Getting hit.
What's not cool?
It's not cool. The stat is cool, but it's not cool to get hit. So I'm going to tell you a stat about that, Wilds.
Yeah.
You didn't like that one either.
Everyone's
Talking. Thank you, Nick. Everyone's talking about Tyler Linderbaum leaving. Who's going to sign him? What about the impact on Lamar Jackson?
Not good.
He just had the highest sack percentage year of his career, and he's losing his best offensive lineman and the captain of his offensive line. And if we talk about Lamar and injuries, Lamar and this new contract and him entering, while still a great athlete, obviously, and still a first ballot Hall of Famer and an MVP candidate, but he is going to need to operate more from the pocket, and he just had his most sacked year. Instead of talking about the addition of Linderbaum from another team, should we be talking about it more through the prism of your guy, Lamar? Bro?
Well, so much so that I'm hoping Linderbaum isn't necessarily gone. Like, he wants a ton of money. There's reports he wants $25 million. Creed Humphrey right now is getting, 18?
He's
the highest paid center. So maybe if, and again, reports are that the Ravens are willing to make him the highest paid center. So maybe they're like, look, see what's out there, and they may match something, if a team goes above and beyond. But we'll see. But I love the guy, and I think they need him. And I would imagine Lamar is saying the same thing to them. We got to keep Linderbaum.
I think that they want him, but they let him hit free agency.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah, go ahead.
I know. You know what else is cool?
What?
The Bears having a center.
Listen, I would love it if Linderbaum was the center of the Bears, but I don't think that's going to happen.
You need a center, though.
Because Bears center just retired.
Bears center just retired. Yeah, stay tuned for First Things Last at the end of the show.
Oh.
You guys got time for one more?
That was also Billy and Deanna's segment.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. Our kids did a show called First Things Last before. Yeah, like 2 years ago.
Really?
They sat out here. Yeah, that's true.
All right. Well, my monologue segment's first. Have you seen the segment?
Yeah,
I did. I didn't know it was called.
Do you watch the show?
Yeah.
All right, guys. You know what else is cool?
Wait.
Versatility.
Oh, that is true.
As in, we can do hoop stats too.
Oh, wow.
Do we really know the new Lakers? Did you know that LeBron, Luka, and Austin Reeves have almost played as many minutes together in the 7 games since the All-Star break as they played in the 54 games before the All-Star break kind of shocked me because of LeBron's injury, obviously, AR's injury as well. So they've 7 games since the break. They've started all 7 games. They've played together, and they're playing pretty well. Beating up on some tomato cans.
It also speaks to that, really awful early season, that plus minus with the 3 of them on the court.
Yeah.
Was a tiny sample.
Really small sample.
Was a tiny minutes-wise sample. Right. And I do think you are seeing more signs of continuity offensively when the 3 of them are out there. Now, maybe it's competition-based. I don't know. But to your point, I think they play the Nuggets? Well, the Nuggets defense stinks too. They're going to have to outscore them, though. Figure out more on that tomorrow.
You got 3 20-plus points, 130 and 2 others in the 20s, so you should be able to put the ball in the hoop.
Well, that wraps it up. Another edition of Cool Stats. Coming up next. What's coming up next?
Well, we're going to talk about if the team should go all in for Maxx Crosby.
What team should go all in for Maxx Crosby? Give us a hint, Dan.
I think the reports on this are just way off.
And he stays?
I'm not talking about staying, but the cost to get him.
Very interesting.
Welcome back to First Things First. Willie Colon hanging out now. Where is Maxx Crosby going? It's going to be one of the biggest topics of conversation until a decision is final. The reports are he doesn't really want to be in Vegas, but he's not demanding a trade yet. Diana Rossini, friend of the show, coming out and reporting. So where do things stand right now? Based on several conversations with league sources, the Raiders have not moved off from their asking price of 2 first-round picks and a player. Several teams are interested, but decision makers are getting mixed signals from the Raiders in regards to their genuine interest in dealing their star, which makes sense because that is an absolute king's ransom. So, Willie, the question is, who should go all in for Maxx Crosby?
Okay.
But before we get into the specifics of the teams, I love Diana Rossini. I respect Jay Glazer. All of these NFL reporters, they have way more sources around the league than I do.
I feel like you're about to say something.
I'm about to say something. It would be breaking with league precedent for a player like Maxx Crosby to get a Micah Parsons-like package, a Khalil Mack-like package. It just simply because of age. Like so,
Age and injury.
Age and now the injury.
Well, Micah didn't get his injury till he landed with
till
the
he'd been traded, right? But so this is just what I put together. Non-quarterbacks in the last 10 years who have been traded for multiple first-round picks. So not even including and the player.
Okay.
Look at their ages. They're all 25, 26. The oldest is 27, and Khalil Mack at that time hadn't been paid yet. Was only 4 years into the league and was considered basically like the best defensive player in football. Crosby is coming off the meniscus cleanup and will be turning 29 before the season. So he is a great player. And I will talk about how I want him as a Bear soon and that I think he makes a lot of teams better and makes sense for a lot of teams. But I will be floored if all in ends up being defined as 2 firsts and a player like what Micah Parsons was just traded for. I don't think it's going to cost that much.
Well, I respect the King's ransom because if you want to debate, you know how negotiations work, right? Like you start high, hopefully you land in the middle. So I understand the Raiders.
Oh, I'm sure the Raiders want that.
Right.
I just don't believe that a team is going to do that for a 29-year-old pass rusher coming off knee surgery. I don't believe it.
Well, see, I think differently because I think if you're a team right now who feels like you're in win-now mode, and for me, there's a couple teams.
Let's hear them.
Buffalo Bills. All right, you need a closer. You haven't had an edge presence since Greg Rousseau, Leonard Floyd. A.J. Epineza is going to be a free agent. You're going to lose him. You know you went into this division game against the Broncos not having a presence on the edge that can close and get home to the quarterback. Maxx Crosby can do that. If you're the Baltimore Ravens, you're going to lose Kyle Van Noy to free agency. You know Maxx Crosby can elevate your defense, right? You know the type of culture he brings into the building. You know his makeup. You know what he can do. I love him on the Ravens. I'm not really, but I get it. You know what I'm saying.
Yeah, the Steelers issue.
Right.
Yeah.
And also the Cowboys. Because if you're Jerry Jones right now, it's time to put up and really say, you know what? I've been talking a lot of smoke. I've talked about what I'm willing to do. Getting him proves it. So, and you have a young DC and Christian Parker who's new to the job, new to the building, and you're going to give him a weapon that can really bolster that defense. So for me, those are the 3 teams that I feel like can make hay.
I will be floored if it's Dallas simply because they traded Micah away for multiple picks and a player, to then turn around and trade multiple picks and a player for Maxx Crosby would surprise me. I love the Buffalo idea. I think that one's perfect. Bill Barnwell, when he did his offseason projections of trades, and he nailed the McDuffie Chiefs trade from earlier, as did I. He said it first, though. I'll give him credit.
Flex.
Yeah, subtle. Nothing humble about this brag. No, but he said DJ Moore and a first for Maxx Crosby.
Okay.
So I would do that in a heartbeat as a Bear
Well,
fan.
the Bears are the cleanest fit. I give you that.
And he seems to want it. Like him and Caleb, some things he said on social media, things he said during the season. It's a huge need. The only thing that now gives me pause is, and I'll talk about Drew Dahlman's retirement a little bit later in the show, but Drew Dahlman retiring, the center for the Bears, it just creates another, like, they've got a left tackle question mark, they've got a pass rush question mark, and now they have a center question mark. Before, when they didn't have a center question mark, I was like, oh, trade your first and DJ Moore, fix your edge rush problem, and then you just have your left tackle thing to figure out. Now, with the extra question mark, I'm not sure that the Bears are in a position to trade a first-round pick anymore.
Yeah, that's fair, but I also don't fall, like, I'm not willing to bite the apple in reference to his relationship with Caleb, because I'm pretty sure Max would love to play with a Josh Allen who's in his prime.
I'm sure.
Who would love to play with a Lamar Jackson who's in his prime, a Dak Prescott, right? Like, the problem with Maxx Crosby, he's never had a quarterback that he can depend on, right? Because when the defense gets off the field after handing the offense the ball, he wants to hand the ball to a quarterback that can deliver. He hasn't had that.
He said five different head coaches.
Right, so any of those quarterbacks he would fall in love with. That's why I'm not, all right, he loves Caleb. He would love Josh Allen too.
Yeah, but he really loves Caleb.
Okay.
To Philadelphia, so come on, we're talking trades, we're talking A.J. Brown, because Philly is asking for a high price for their wide receiver, and reports from The Athletic's James Palmer on his Scoop City podcast, he says, so a head coach heard what the Eagles were asking and, quote, laughed hard. So obviously the Eagles' asking price for A.J. Brown is high. This is a fun one because, like Maxx Crosby, an undeniably great player, though a little bit more baggage with A.J. Brown. Willie, where's the best fit for A.J. Brown?
Well, let me say this. If you let A.J. Brown go, whatever that looks like, the Eagles aren't making the playoffs next year.
Wow.
I'm going to jump out there and say that. Like, this receiver room is built around A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. If you let him go, all eyes are on Devontae Smith, and the reason why Devontae Smith was been able to eat because he had A.J. Brown on the other side.
So you don't think Devontae is a true number one?
We haven't seen it, right?
No, definitely not.
And I think the reason why—
I think he's very good, though.
I think he's damn good, but this is what you have to understand with the Eagles' offense right now. They're going to lose potentially both tight ends are free agents. Dallas Goedert is going to be a free agent, and they have, I think the kid's name right now is Grant Calcaterra, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm chopping his name up, so I apologize. They could potentially lose that, right? On top of that, you need offensive line help. Bad. The Eagles would take a big cap hit if they let A.J. Brown go. I think it was like $23 million. You can reserve that money and get you an offensive line, some pieces on the offensive line that can revamp this run game and get Saquon Barkley, back on par. I think this is all smoke. I don't think A.J. Brown's going anywhere. I don't think he wants to go anywhere. And I'm going to tell you the grand poobah of it all. If A.J. Brown walks away, let's just say he goes, plays for the Patriots, that's just hypothetically, there's a chance the Eagles may realize that Jalen Hurts is the problem after all.
Oh, yeah, listen,
like,
I mean, I've
been
been saying that for years, buddy.
But trust me, I've been next to you.
Yeah.
But there may be an issue where that Jalen Hurts may have hit his ceiling. And that's a bigger crisis that I think the Eagles are willing to deal with right now.
Okay, so we're actually pretty aligned here because A.J. Brown would have a better fit with a better quarterback. Right? Like
That's fair.
So Stefon Diggs gets released. If you just said in a vacuum, next season, week 1, A.J. Brown is an Eagle or A.J. Brown is a Patriot, which team is A.J. Brown going to have a better statistical season? I would say the Patriots.
I don't disagree with that.
Right? Like Drake May throws the ball down the field. He can push the ball outside the numbers. He's a great deep ball thrower. Like A.J. Brown would probably get 150 targets in New England next year, and that's just not how Philly's offense operates.
Yep.
But if I'm Howie Roseman, I'm looking around, I'm like, I need A.J. Brown and Saquon and Devontae. That's the only way this has ever worked at a high level.
He stabilizes your offense
with my quarterback. Yeah. So I fully expect, and this isn't maybe the best take for the internet or take for the next 2 months of the offseason because projecting trades, But I think status quo is going to win here. I think A.J. Brown is going to be in Philadelphia next year. And then, by the way, there will be problems with A.J. Brown in Philadelphia next year.
What are the problems?
I'm just saying.
But my point is, like,
things that you've said you wouldn't love to leave the locker room that leave the locker room when A.J. Brown's on your team.
But they're consistent.
They are consistent.
Like they're not all over the place. They're not patchy statements. What he's saying is, I'm open, right? Like I've said this time and time on the show. When you turn on the tape and it's him versus another guy, he's open, right?
He is correct.
And when there's a blitz coming and he's your big third down receiver, he's open. Jalen Hurts has struggled to get him the ball. And for whatever reason, and I think a large part of Jalen's regression is because of the offensive line. They haven't been able to protect him. I think he starts to see ghosts and he looks unhinged in the pocket. I think that's part of the problem. But nevertheless, man, there's nothing wrong with A.J. Brown. Like, I think his game hasn't regressed. He just hasn't been utilized to the best of his potential.
Well, and so that's the thing. Like, he's such a good player that, let's just say conservatively, he's a top 10 receiver in football.
I don't think anybody's going to argue.
Right, let's just say. So he's a good fit literally everywhere. Right. I mean, like, take the worst team in the league. If you put him on Vegas, you're like, oh, well, that's a good fit because it would help Fernando Mendoza, you know what I mean, when he comes in. Take the Titans. Oh, that would help you realize what Cam Ward is. But I would say New England, Buffalo, Baltimore would all be just like, they all need true number ones. They all have great quarterbacks. They're all in a win now mode. Yep. They all have low first round picks that they can trade. Like, those would be the teams, if he does get dealt, that I would circle. But I think he's literally a good fit on every team in the NFL. Talking about guys who are moving, Kyler Murray, he's a former Cardinal, and everyone seems to be connecting dots with one team. We'll talk about what it would turn the Minnesota Vikings into if they land the former number 1 overall pick. Thanks for hanging out with us on the OT. Let's talk Kyler Murray. So we discussed yesterday where we want him to go, but there are reports circulating that this was his preferred outcome, being outright released, which makes sense because then he can pick his destination. And he's got the Vikings near or at the top of the list with 2 destinations lined up. Albert Breer writes, Kyler Murray's $36.8 million guarantee means he'll almost certainly play for the minimum next year. Arizona foots the rest of the bill, which allows him to make his next move purely based on football. So I said Minnesota, it's a pretty easy dot to connect because of the J.J. McCarthy stuff. Willie, let's talk about the hypothetical. Would you like Kyler Murray in Minnesota?
Well, first of all, this out of all the headlines and stories in this free agency time, this intrigues me the most, to be honest. Okay. And let me start there. 2, if the Vikings bring in Kyler Murray, this signals to me they're giving up on J.J. McCarthy.
I agree.
Because you're not bringing in Kyler Murray to sit the bench. You're bringing him to start. And
are you bringing him in to compete? Like, because I think there's a real chance that if you do this, you are trading J.J. McCarthy and that he's not even on the team.
I don't disagree with that. But I'm just thinking about from a logistics standpoint, like it's not college, right? You're not going to say, all right, Kyler, you run with the ones. JJ, you take this scout team and you get your reps in. That's not how NFL leagues practice. That's not how the league works, nevertheless. I also have to say that, I don't know if you know this, Kyler Murray is not a good cold weather quarterback. He's there. I got a stat to prove it. Can we throw it up there right now?
Let's see it.
Like this is Kyler in games below 55 degrees.
55?
55!
I thought you were like 35.
55.
Now, listen, that's not the biggest sample. But this guy's only played 9 games. He's only played 9 games below 55 degrees.
And he's only played 2 games below 40 degrees, right? And so, think about it.
He goes to a dome.
So but he has to play Green Bay. If he lands in Minnesota, he has to play Green Bay and Chicago.
No, I'm aware.
Another team that's been floated out there is the Pittsburgh Steelers. Mike McCarthy has said, I love Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
That whole division's outside, right?
So do you like him?
So not the Jets either, because Buffalo, New England are both cold weather teams. So Miami.
Atlanta?
No. The team I would love for him.
I should just let you say it instead of guessing.
Well, the team I would love for him to land is the LA Rams. And I'll tell you why.
This is ridiculous.
Because Matthew Stafford and the Rams, I think, got lucky with his back situation. I don't think anybody looked at Stafford going into last season, thought he was going to play as great as he did or would remain as healthy as he was, right? Going into this year, there's a chance that the back may flare up again.
Sure.
And there's another chance that if they don't make the Super Bowl, he may hang it up.
That he retires. Sure.
We all know what Sean McVay can do to quarterback, let's say rehab quarterback. He's probably one of the best in the business. So if you're Kyler Murray, and you say, hey, if I got to sit a year, potentially, or if Stafford gets hurt, I'm landing in the system with weapons and a coach who can elevate me.
So it is a compelling thought exercise. And I don't mean to be patronizing. I honestly don't.
It's one of your best skill sets.
Thank you. Happy anniversary to my wife. Here's what I would say. Like, that is just not going to happen. He's too good.
What are you talking about?
You think Kyler Murray is just going to volunteer in the middle of his athletic prime to go back up Matt Stafford?
First of all,
I can't, because he could go, yeah, you can't work with Sean McVay, but you can work with a guy on the McVay tree in Kevin O'Connell, and a guy who got Kirk Cousins to ball out, and a guy who got Sam Darnold to ball out, and you think you're better than that. Like, I understand that Kyler Murray is not the platonic ideal of a quarterback prospect because he's short, but
no, I think at his best, he's a top 10 quarterback.
Okay, so
at his best,
yeah,
which we haven't seen a lot of, but I've seen him cook. And when
you've seen stretches of great play, sure. But so like in that world where there are 32 teams, but there are not 32 good starting quarterbacks. But he is good enough to do it, and he's been in a bad spot. And I don't know if you'll like this stat or not. Nick hated it, but I put this up during the A block in Stats Are Cool at Pack Stats. Total yards per game since 2019 of guys who have started a lot. He's 6th.
Yes.
He is a unique athlete and a unique weapon. And he has been in a bad situation, not the worst situation, but a bad situation. You're telling me you give him a Brian Flores defense, Kevin O'Connell calling plays, and he gets to throw the ball to Justin Jefferson in a dome? That team won 9 games this year with Carson Wentz, Maxx Crosby, and J.J. McCarthy.
Right.
Why can't they win 12 with Kyler? Like, that Vikings team with just league average quarterback play. And I think you say he can be top 10. Let's just say
at his best.
Sure, right. But I would assume that Kevin O'Connell and Justin Jefferson would be able to get him closer to his best than what he's had in Minnesota the last couple of years. So, like, on one hand, I can back up Matt Stafford. And on the other hand, I can start for a team that had a winning record last year that has a top 1 receiver in football with a top 5 defense in football and play in a dome. Like, I cannot imagine any human being on earth volunteering and signing up for the backup job instead of the starting job. I just don't think it's realistic.
It's a very fair argument. My thing right now, Kyler's one is coming off a foot injury. So we don't know if the athleticism we know he's capable of may take a hit from that. Most of the time it does, we'll see. On top of that, he needs a run game. Aaron Jones is gone. He's not going to be on the Minnesota Vikings. They need a run game to stabilize that offense. That's why they were able to survive and put up the little bit of numbers they were able to, because they had a run game, right? On top of that, Kyler Murray, for me, needs a year where he needs a little revamp. And then I you think Kevin O'Connell's a guy, but I also believe in Sean McVay because I think both guys have proven they can revamp quarterbacks, rehab them, and get off and go.
Well, listen, I think every quarterback would love to do a 1-year apprenticeship under Sean McVay, but like, it's just not available.
Because it's successful.
Yeah, no, of course. But
and I'm also banking on that Stafford might get hurt.
I get it.
So that's where I'm leaning.
And it's a great organization, and it's
100%.
great, and it's great weather. I'm not saying
and he's stepping into a Porsche, right? It won't be a lemon. Like, for me, the Vikings feel like a lemon.
Really?
Because of what they had to deal with J.J. McCarthy. Like, their identity on what they were able to do took a big hit.
I don't know, man. I mean, Kirk Cousins had a career year there. Sam Darnold revitalized his career partially there.
2 different quarterbacks.
No, I know.
Style play,
but don't you think Kyler looks at them and says, I'm better than both of them?
You would think.
Yeah.
Right.
So
this is also a guy who only played 5 games last season.
I know. Listen, that is undeniably true. I can't see him signing up for a backup role. Drew Dahlman has retired. What it means next. It's time for First Things Last. Yesterday, amidst all the normal NFL noise of the franchise tag deadline coming and going, a massive story dropped out of Chicago. Bears standout center Drew Dahlman reportedly told the team he intends to retire from football just 1 year after signing a 3-year, $42 million deal. In just his 5th season in the league, Dahlman was an anchor of an offensive line that led to Caleb Williams' breakout. He started every game. He made the Pro Bowl. And maybe the most eye-popping part of the story, Dahlman is just 27 years old. Whenever a story like this comes about, it's labeled as a huge surprise. But it forces us to remember the brutality of the game we all love and the toll that it takes. Now, I don't know Dahlman at all and hope nothing but the best for him. I texted one of his teammates just to get his reaction, and he said obviously he was surprised, but you've got to respect it. He also mentioned the grind of what it takes for any of them to get through a full season. Dahlman played over 1,100 snaps last year. Now, Dahlman is a smart guy who comes from a football family. He was a second-team academic All-American at Stanford who graduated with a degree in mechanical engineering. His father played 7 seasons in the NFL, winning a Super Bowl with the Niners. So he saw both the highest of highs the game can provide and presumably the tolls the game can take on someone as they age. But those are just guesses as to the factors that led to Dahlman's decision, and he owes us no explanation. But what I keep thinking about is, given what we know about the effect of the game and what it has on the mind and body, the surprising thing should be that this doesn't happen more. Andrew Luck and Luke Kuechly are high-profile examples of guys who retired due to injuries and health concerns. But Blake Martinez retired early after signing a $30 million contract to sell Pokemon cards. Now, there's so much money in the game now that if you can get in, make some, and get out with your health intact to pursue other passions, it sounds like a pretty good option. So here's to trying to no longer be surprised or disappointed when one of these stories comes out. Let's do what we do for anyone else in any job. Wish Drew Dahlman the best of luck in retirement, because not many 27-year-olds get to go out on their own terms. That's all I've got. Thank you so much for hanging out with us on the OT. We're back tomorrow with more First Things First.